Are you recording?
Yeah, we have been this whole time.
That is awesome.
Great.
Welcome.
Welcome.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to Resolve Mysteries, the podcast. This is a podcast where we rewatch episodes of the best show ever, Unsolved Mysteries. We each take a case or two and research them to tell the stories more in depth and provide updates. We are watching on Amazon Prime, and our episode numbers follow along and correspond with the episode numbers on Amazon Prime, so it's easy to know which one to watch before you listen. To see photos we reference in the episode, follow us on Instagram at @re_solved mysteries, on Facebook at Resolve the Pod, and on Twitter at Resolve the Pod. You can contact us on resolvemysteriespodcast.com. If you like us, please rate and review us on iTunes. This month, for every review we receive, we're going to donate $1 to end the backlog.
Yay. We've already been getting so many nice reviews in January. Thank
Yes, it's awesome.
you. Oh, we were wondering, everyone. Hi, listeners. This is Eliza. That was Karlin.
Hi.
Allison, where are you?
I'm right here.
We were wondering what listeners would like to be called. So if you have any thoughts on that, let us know. You could Instagram message us. We'll post about it. And maybe on Facebook, we'll post about it too. Send us a message. If you have any good ideas,
Yeah,
maybe
we want like a cute nickname for you guys.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we don't know how to refer to you guys. We've just been saying RM friends or
Yeah.
RM fans.
which is fine.
Yeah, but if you can think of something
We
better.
thought about resolvers, but that sounds too much like revolvers, and we don't really like guns. So
Yeah.
so look for that on
let us
social
know.
media stuff, and you can let us know.
And
And
then
we'd
if
love
we-
to read them.
Then if we have a bunch of good ideas, we'll narrow them down and you guys can decide.
Yeah,
Yeah.
or maybe we'll decide, and you can get a tote if you are the one who suggested the one we like the best.
Oh, yeah. Whoever suggests the one we like the best gets a tote.
yeah, maybe a button too. Send 'em in.
Maybe. If I ever get those fucking buttons together.
What's
Okay.
that? What's that movie with Brad Pitt? I love it so much. And
Oh, that one. Just the one movie.
well, you'll know why I'm saying that. And Frances McDormand, they work together in a gym. And
Oh,
George Clooney.
Burn After Reading.
Burn After Reading. And George Clooney builds a sex machine in
That
his
looks like-
basement, and it looks like
like
that
my-
button maker.
I have a button maker.
Don't you think?
I don't remember that movie. I saw it one time.
Oh, we have to watch it. It's one of my favorites. I just
Really?
can never remember any names. Yes.
Oh my gosh,
It has
wow.
all my favorite people. I love Frances McDormand.
mean,
I know
would
that's
say-
a Coen Brothers movie, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I did the Pop Sugar twinning thing, guys. And it says I look like Frances McDormand.
it's your best day. I know. It's your best day ever. We're proud. We're all proud.
Thanks so much.
But I would agree that this button maker is quite phallic.
It is. It's phallic.
Okay, we have. It's not really a regular YDFU. Yeah, done fucked up.
You
it's
done
not.
fucked up.
It's not that bad. We just had a listener who told us that from last episode, Alison's segment, we had talked about a goat head worship guy. Mm-hmm. And she informed us what his name was and what the other part of him was that we were talking about.
The DNA dick.
Yeah, that.
It's not called that in real life.
Did you know that?
Yeah.
No.
The ancients did not call that a DNA dick.
They should have. It looks like it. We were not wrong.
Our listener who informed us is at Mrs. P. Diaz.
On Instagram, thank you.
Yes,
And
girl.
she
thank
knows
you.
a lot of stuff that we didn't know, so thanks.
So what's that deity's name?
Baphomet.
The
That's
internet-
all I'm allowed to say.
The internet has confirmed that it was a dick.
Yep, it is. It is a dick.
It said because
Okay, Alison has a ball chair and she's bouncing up going, yeah, it is a dick. She's bouncing. Sorry. It's
it's a
distracting.
highly phallic episode so far.
So was last episode. Maybe we just like dicks.
But Karlin, your job is to say what the phallic thing is
Oh,
called.
sorry.
this is going super well, guys.
It's
Good.
great.
It's a caduceus.
Yes. So
And I don't know what that means. Tell me.
Well, I don't really know, but also, if you guys remember, we made a big deal about how the only thing that we could understand that she was saying when she was basically speaking in tongues was coagula. Mm-hmm. So as we were researching Baphomet a little bit and still understand nothing, the only thing we did understand was that he has tattoos on his arms.
He's got
and
some ink.
Yes, he has ink. And one says, they're both in Latin. One says solve, which is actually a Latin word, not the English word, the Latin word for separate. And then the other arm has coagula
Yeah.
tattooed on it. And that means to bring together or something.
In a bloody mass.
No. You just couldn't see the tattoos in that highly pixelated image we got from UM.
Well, yeah.
Yeah. So look up Baphomet. There's a statue and there are like two children looking up at him too. It's very weird. He's from the 14th century. The Knights Templar maybe worshipped him. We don't know for sure.
We didn't do that much
Anyway.
research.
We really could not deep dive Baphomet, but
No, but-
thank you, Mrs. PDS, for telling us.
And we were happy about the coagula thing when we looked it up. Thanks to Wikipedia.
Yes. Thanks to Wikipedia for everything. Always and
Always.
forever.
Truly. Truly. All right.
It's disappearing right before my eyes.
So we just found out that Netflix is rebooting. Is that the proper way?
Yep.
I think so.
Unsolved Mysteries, you guys.
Yes.
It's fucking crazy.
New unsolved cases.
New.
They're not redoing the old.
We lost our shit over it, quite honestly. We're so excited. And we are all on Facebook and Instagram, and we're trying to figure out who's going to be the new host.
Yeah. By the time this comes out, the story we posted with the question of who you would want to be the host will be gone. But there is a post you can see on our Instagram that you could go in the comments there and answer. It's a picture of Robert Stack with a beautiful moon behind him. It's one of our. You'll have to wade through the other Robert Stack photos to find it, but that's been a fun comment section. And
People have really good ideas. They're super fun.
Yeah. Been a lot of good suggestions.
Yes, so
I
excited.
can't wait to find out.
And we're excited because the producer is the guy from Stranger Things.
Sean Levy,
Yes.
the main producer of Stranger Things, is producing it.
Yeah.
And I think that's a good sign. I think it's
Yeah,
gonna
me
be
too,
awesome.
because I fucking love Stranger Things. I don't care what those internet commenters say. Hate on, haters. We're stoked about it.
Yeah, we are.
Yeah.
Super funny. Everybody was like, yay, now you have more episodes. I'm like, honey, it's 12 seasons of Robert Stack.
Yeah.
Let us get through the next 15 years of our lives first, okay?
Yeah, we're good. We're
We've got
good.
plenty of content.
By the time we get to the Netflix show, the mysteries will have already been solved. Like,
Seriously.
It'll just be like our show, because
Yeah.
it'll take a decade and a fucking half to get there.
And that's what we'll need. We need some time to pass so that we can resolve them
Yeah.
or resolve them.
Yes.
Yeah. And we're talking about maybe either doing a smaller episode or a little bit of chatter at the end of our current episodes while they're airing, just kind of talking about what the stories are. So we haven't kind of figured out how we're going to incorporate it into the podcast yet. But as soon as we know, because we just found this out, we'll let you guys know for sure.
Like, I can't wait to see, are the reenactments...
Are they going to be
What are they
like
gonna be
intentionally silly, or are they going to be really scary?
Well,
Like,
I
I
don't
wonder
know.
how,
I
like-
think it's going to be good. And I read something about it being very documentary style.
Cool.
So I think it's going to be like super well done.
Oh, man,
I
that's
can't
so exciting. I have goosebumps.
Yeah.
I'm so excited. Yeah, so stay tuned. And as we get more information, we'll share it with you guys for sure.
Yeah.
Also, do you have the listener who...
Oh, yes, our
put that part out,
sweetie. So one of our listeners is so sweet, and she started a Facebook fan page for us. And she's a doll. Her name is Randy, and we love her so. And it's so cool that we have a fan page. I can't believe that we have a fan
I
page.
can't believe it either.
Me
Yeah.
neither.
No, it's so rad. It's really cool how this is growing, this little community.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's-
Thanks, Randy.
It's awesome. So the Facebook page is Resolved Mysteries Fans, at Resolved Mysteries Pod Fans. So if you guys search us on Facebook, our main page will come up, and then the fan page comes up, and it's moderated by Randy, who is a doll. And thank you so much, Randy. That was so sweet of you. Yeah, so go check it out if you're on Facebook. And if you're not on Facebook, don't join Facebook,
Don't do it.
because it's a nightmare.
Truly. All right. It looks like we're starting with an amnesia segment.
Oh, wait, I wanted to talk about the Shearsy Feelsies page first.
Oh, yeah. Go ahead.
So I've had a couple people ask us if we could make notebook merchandise, which I think is super cute, so that you guys can take notes while you listen.
Just so cute,
and
you
follow
guys.
along. I mean, you guys are just,
Good Lord.
you're the best. I'm working on getting the merch done. I'm working on getting the art done for the merch. But in the meanwhile, I know that some of you had wanted to know about our Sharesy Feelsies at the end of the episodes, our recommendations and the things that we talk about. So I'm building a webpage, and it will list all of our Sharesy Feelsies. And I'm going to go back and scrub through back to episode 1. So everything we've ever recommended since the first episode will be on this webpage. And when it's finished, I'll put it up on Facebook, the link, and Instagram.
It'll be part of our website, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah, it's a new page. So anything that we say that we like or that we name drop during the episode or after the episode will go up there, and you guys can check it out, and hopefully you like what we like.
Yeah, it'd be fun to maybe if like one of us reads a book and you also want to read that book, and then we have message back and forth about it. That'd be fun. So.
Yeah. And we also had a listener write in it and recommend a book to us, which was super cool. I believe her name's Jamie. I can't remember the name of the book, but I'm absolutely going to pick it up. So if you guys have something that you think that we should read that involves an unsolved mystery that you're really interested in, definitely let us know, because we are avid consumers of reading material. We read a lot.
Something might be coming up in the future about you guys emailing us ideas. Or that's a little taste of that. Probably makes no sense.
Just a tease.
We have some things
no
in the
information.
works. You know what? You guys are giving us such positive, amazing feedback that we now feel like, okay, cool, let's do some more stuff for our listeners, because it seems like we have a lot of people listening, and the people that are listening are super into this, and it just motivates us to keep moving forward. So we've got some fun stuff in the works for you guys. It's really exciting.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Can't wait.
Okay. What are we talking about this episode?
So I have the first segment. It is technically amnesia is the topic, and it's Jenny Pratt and Curtis Croft.
No relation to Chris Pratt and Lara Croft.
Or Spencer Pratt.
No, but imagine trying to Google Pratt and finding what comes up.
And I can't imagine Googling Curtis Croft, and probably all you come up with is Tomb Raider.
Well, if you Google Jenny Pratt, you just get a lot of pictures of Jennifer Lawrence and Chris Pratt, because apparently the internet really wants them married.
Well, they did a movie together. I have the second segment. It's a wanted/fraud segment about Jack Quinn. My favorite. Men taking more money than they need and being assholes. Yay!
Oh, no.
So we were talking the other day about how Eliza usually ends up with the tragic tales, and my partner and I, he's like, we need to get Eliza back onto what she really doesn't care about. And then I realized that you had fraud this week, and I was like,
really
yeah,
shines.
baby. It's Eliza's time to shine.
I like this case a little better than sports balls, but you know.
Yeah, still a fraudy. Mine is an unexplained death, and it is about Clarence Roberts, the man who died twice.
Whoa. Oh, and then I have the fourth segment. It's about a bank robber named Fumbles.
Oh, so cute.
Yeah.
Can we have like a boing sound and go after that? Okay.
Yeah, we need... We're absolutely going to post the video of him falling on his face.
Yes,
we are.
Yes,
because it's magic.
And he just doesn't give up.
I know. Well, you'll find out all about him and why.
All right.
All right.
Let's go.
Do it. All right, guys. So segment 1 of episode 11 is an amnesia case, and it is the case or the mystery of Jenny Pratt and Curtis Croft. Spring of 1987, Jenny Pratt wanted to be a model. She was 16 years old, and she lived in California. She was super cute.
Despite that hair.
Oh my God. Well, like, she's
As
just
the most
adorable.
80s
She's
hair I've
so
ever
cute.
seen.
Oh, those bangs.
Yeah, like she's got like amazing flock of seagulls hair. But she was also very, very pretty, and like it put me into like a rabbit hole of 80s catalog models.
Oh, yeah.
So I was like, oh, she probably could have modeled. So I started Googling 80s catalog models, and
does she look just like them?
yeah, and it's super fun.
Nice.
Yeah. So she was popular. She was apparently a really, really nice girl. She wasn't like a mean, popular girl. Like nobody had a bad word to say about her. And she was totally in love with her boyfriend, Curtis Croft. He was apparently a super hot surfer dude.
I mean, he
I
wasn't
did this
ugly.
research. No, I mean, he
he's
was
in the
like,
episode.
He looks like right out of Point Break. Like,
Yes.
Diane Strom, Jenny's mother, tells us that she didn't know that they were dating until about 6 months into the relationship. She said that Jenny told her Curtis was 17, and Diane said that he seemed like a, quote, pretty nice boy. That's definitely a quote.
That is.
Okay.
Then she says, he did a really good job snowing me. He looked 17.
Oh, I thought she said selling.
No, snowing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Got it.
So she says later down the road, she found out that he had been jailed for drugs and was 24 years old and was bad news for a 16-year-old kid.
Which is like straight out of every movie. Like
Yeah.
24-year-olds pretending to be
Oh, it's so fucking
high
creepy.
school. And like apparently
Yuck.
somebody really can get away with that.
But this is interesting because from what I read, it was sort of like a culture. Like, it was like all the teenage girls in that area, like all like lusted after these older surfer guys, and these surfer guys would like date them and kind of take advantage of them.
Sure.
Yeah. Yeah. This
I mean, I
whole-
could totally, that's
this whole
totally
thing is
understandable, but
totally like a culture of privilege and like entitlement. It's
Yeah.
really, really, it's super fucked. So the mom, I think, is pretty badass.
Yeah.
And she also sounds like she's from Long Island.
Oh.
She has like a pretty thick, like Long Island Jersey accent. So this isn't in the show, but this is a good place to bring it up. The Stroms forbade Jenny from seeing Croft, which they do see in the show. But the relationship went on virtually unimpeded by the parental ban. Jenny would simply tell her parents that she was going out with friends and then head over to Curtis Croft's apartment. As the relation flowered, Jenny apparently changed. This is a quote from her friend Holly Lightbody. She said, "I remember one thing she said, I don't need any friends. I have Curtis." And another high school friend of Jenny said, the relationship was like a fairy tale. It was like make-believe.
no.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yep. So
So she was brainwashed.
I mean, I think a lot of teenage girls that date older men become completely infatuated by them.
Totally.
You
Yes.
know? And
Yeah.
the older men know that. They're not stupid. It's so much
No.
easier to manipulate and control a 16-year-old girl than it is a woman your own age.
Yeah, they love it.
Yeah, you know. So against her parents' wishes, Jenny went out with Curtis on the night of April 25th, 1987. He had borrowed a friend's motorcycle, and they show him riding on the motorcycle with her, and there's no helmets. And he,
I didn't even think about that.
yeah, they don't have any helmets on, which I don't know anything about riding motorcycles, so I don't want to like talk shit like, oh, how fucking stupid. I don't know.
Well,
It's an
the
extremely
one thing we
dangerous
know
choice.
is you should wear a
But
yes,
helmet.
like, and
And
doesn't
full
everybody
body leather.
wear a helmet now? Like, I don't feel like here.
Well, legally you have to.
Yeah, okay. Because
But
I was like, how do you
people
even
still wear those like skull cap ones that are not
Oh yeah,
enough.
like the old style
Yep.
like biker ones. Yeah, I was like, I feel like this isn't right, but I don't know anything about this.
yeah,
But
for sure not
yeah,
safe whatsoever.
this was also probably before you had to like buckle your seatbelt, or before there maybe were seatbelts.
before safety.
Yeah,
True.
before safety, pre-safety.
No one had seen Sons of Anarchy yet, clearly.
Yes. Well, they don't wear helmets, do they?
That's true. One of them wears a skull cap one, I think.
Oh, that's right.
That
Okay.
little cute boy.
Which
Never
one?
seen it.
That whole
Yeah, they
show
are.
is full of
It's
little
true.
cute boys. Okay, so he had promised Jenny that he would get her home by her midnight curfew, and I was like, midnight?
Oh, damn.
What? At 16?
That's
my curfew
generous.
was like 9:30.
Yeah, especially for back then. I
Yeah,
feel like that's
man.
well,
Back then, it's probably
maybe
more so.
yeah, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like my curfew was 9:30 until I got back from college, the first like break.
Mine
Yeah,
was 11.
I mean, I snuck out all the time, and I was a total piece of shit. So it makes sense that my curfew was 9:30.
I'm just gonna say that I don't think I even had one because my parents trusted me a lot.
wow, good for
Barf.
you.
Well, my mother didn't trust me at all, and for all the right reasons. So
Yeah.
yes, I was always home by 9:30 to sneak out by 12. So although Croft's living costs, this is also from an article I read, it isn't from the show. Although Croft's living costs were being covered by his parents while he tried his hand in the auto detailing business. So he was arrested, I believe, in 85 or released in 85 for cocaine possession. So he had basically like snapped Jenny up pretty soon after he had gotten out of jail. And I think once he'd gotten out of jail, his parents were trying to like help him out. So they were paying for everything. However, Jenny would often use her paycheck from work at a small shop in the commercial Beehive along nearby El Camino Real. So I guess it was like a mall or like a strip mall. Mm-hmm. So she worked in a little store there, and she would give Curtis her money that she earned
Oh my god.
to buy food or pay for gas. And her friend said that when Christmas rolled around, she lavished him with gifts.
Oh my God, no.
Wow.
Yeah. So on the night in question, Pratt and Croft are sitting at a stoplight, and a pickup truck comes up behind them and smacks Jenny Pratt in the head with a 6.5 long foot board. The police believe the assailants to be local teenagers, but so far, no one will speak about them. It looked like to me in the reenactment there were about 6 or 7 people in the pickup truck, but I don't know if that was coming off of a statement or if that was just kind of like a narrative thing.
Yeah.
Right.
Jenny was in such critical condition that she was airlifted to Scripps Hospital in La Jolla, which is a renowned trauma center that only takes the most severe of cases. They do crazy shit like shark attacks. Like if you get
my God.
like your arm bitten off, like you get airlifted to this hospital.
Yeah, like her parents didn't even know about it.
Yeah, they were like,
where is that?
Where is that?
Yeah.
And why are you taking her there?
Yeah.
Yeah. The minute you hear airlifted, you're like, oh, fuck.
Yeah, they're taking you to a specialist.
Gary Strom, Jenny's stepfather, said that the doctors said Jenny was brain dead and they didn't expect her to survive. Jerry, I think his last name is Stenham, who is a Scripps medical doctor, says that her injuries were so severe at the scene of the accident, and I think he means brutal, unmitigated attack on a 16-year-old child.
Yeah.
It's not an accident if
not
somebody
an
hits you
accident.
in the head with a fucking board. The board crushed her skull, and it caused, quote, the immediate shutdown of her brain.
Gosh.
Diane says that she went to see her, and there was blood coming out of her eyes, nose, mouth. Her whole body was just, quote, distorted. Jenny Pratt survived, but she lapsed into a deep coma. Meanwhile, Sergeant Jim Byler of the Carlsbad Police Department tells us that the 2x4 that was used to hit Jenny and Curtis was found at the scene. I'm hoping...
And real quick, Curtis had no injuries.
Curtis...
Like he had
I think he was hit by Jenny.
he said that something hit his head and he was like, oh, ow, what was that?
I think that he was hit by the force of Jenny coming forward and hitting him and then flying back because they dropped the board the minute they made contact with her.
Yeah.
Oh, so he said that the board was found at the scene, and, you know, I'm thinking maybe DNA. You know, if you're handling a board with your hands.
It's like a rough surface.
Yeah, it's a really rough surface.
Yeah.
So there are no fingerprints on the board, but Jenny's blood stains were on it, obviously. They interview Curtis. So this 24-year-old man who was dating a 16-year-old girl, and he is like quintessential 80s fucking California
Surfer
bro.
bro. Yep.
Oh my God. Fast Times at Ridgemont High. Fucking Sean Penn's character.
Yes.
That's like totally who he sounds like. He's
That's
just
a good
like fucking mouth breather, like, oh, bro. So he said he felt something hit him in the side of the head as a car drove by, and when he turned to tell Jenny, ow, that someone like hit me with like something, quote, he saw she was, quote, out of it. I guess out of it means a crushed skull and covered in fucking blood. Like, Curtis is the king of understatement here.
God.
Curtis is so laid back about his girlfriend being brutalized, it's a bit uncomfortable. He said that he thought it was a white pickup truck with a large group of juveniles and that they were laughing as they went by. And it's like, fucking teenagers are terrifying.
Yeah. Like, I could absolutely see that scenario happening. Just being like,
Teenagers-
whatever, like, we don't even know who you are, but we're going to fucking hit
Like
you.
they don't think, they don't have
No.
like developed senses of empathy. Like, I mean, it's completely insane. Like, the brain of a teenager is fucking terrifying.
Well, and that was a big thing people used to do too with mailboxes.
I was
Like,
going to
just
say
go
that
around
because I
and
used to do that.
knock mailboxes
And like
down.
when they were talking about the speed at which you go, like there's no way you go 50 miles an hour because whatever you're hitting would fly you out of the car.
Right, exactly.
Especially if you're in a pickup truck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He said that it was a white truck, and I don't know how many fucking white pickup trucks can be in the area that the police couldn't just have cruised around and found all the white pickup trucks and been like, hey, where were you on the night of April 25th?
Yeah.
You know, like this isn't like a major metropolitan area. I mean, it's a group of towns that comprise the area, but I feel like most people would be like, oh, I know someone that drives a white pickup truck.
Right.
Byler said that he assumed the case would be quickly solved because juveniles have a tendency to talk. But as of the airing, no one has offered any direct knowledge of what happened that night. Jenny's parents hired a PI, Louis... I spelled it phonetically. Louis Christophe is how I spelled it. And he interviews Jenny's fellow students. A girl named Sydney Stanger, who looks like she's about 30 fucking years
Oh,
old.
I know. I said the same
She
thing.
looked like a cast member from like Beverly Hills 90210. She was like,
It's just the same thing we talk
I
about. All
know.
these high school kids look so old.
I know. Like, she's like 40 years old, like
Yes.
chain smoking. Like, she's not smoking. I'm just kidding.
For once, I made no notes about this.
Yeah, she looks so old. I was like, you're fucking 16. Get out of here. Like, no
I don't
way.
get it.
And she looks older than all of us.
Yes.
Like, she really does. She says that all she can say is that the attack wasn't aimed at Jenny. It was aimed for Curtis. And, quote, nobody really knows who did it. I feel like if I were being interviewed, I would say,
I don't know.
yeah, exactly. Or not really. Just nobody knows who did it. Or I don't know who did it.
Yeah.
Or, you know?
Yeah.
Okay, so then she continues to say, I mean, I think I know who did it, but I'm not willing to say, which is something also a teenager would, like, only a teenager would go on TV in front of thousands of people and be like, I mean, I think I know who did it, but I'm not willing to say. It's like,
Gosh.
you just look like,
Okay.
you look like such a shit, you know? Like,
totally.
this person is supposedly
she
your
your
friend.
friend?
Yeah. You know, she would rather like not be accused of snitching by a bunch of teenagers than put these people away who did this to her friend. It's so selfish. This whole segment, so many people in it are just so selfish and out for their own self-interest.
Yes.
It's horrible. It's horrible the way like a community will completely fall away from an individual when she needs them the most, you know? Byler says that it's no secret people don't like Curtis, and they show his 1985 mugshot, and it's so amazing. It's fairly exceptional, and we're going to post it. Curtis was arrested in 85 for dealing blow, copped a deal, and he ratted a lot of people out.
Shocking.
Yeah, I know, right? So he only had to serve half of his sentence. And, you know, Byler basically says snitches get stitches, you know. Curtis had an altercation the night before he was attacked, but the investigation stalled when he said he couldn't identify the perpetrators of the attack. He said they went by 50 miles an hour and were going too fast for him to see anything. I don't believe him. The way he talked about the hit on the head, it seems like it wasn't a big deal, and I think he knows exactly who attacked him. Louis Christophe agrees with me. He tries to reconstruct the accident going at two different speeds. The first reconstruction was done at 50 miles an hour, and both of the mannequins' heads on the motorcycle are just like obliterated right off of their necks.
decapitated.
Yeah. So there's no way that the truck could have been going 50 or they would both be dead.
There was also something about how the board landed really far away at that
Yeah,
speed.
exactly. The board would go flying.
Yeah.
You know, it was like 40 feet away or something at that point. And then they did another reconstruction where the car was only going 10 miles an hour and the damage done to Jenny's mannequin was super similar. And the board fell right next to the motorcycle like it did at the crime scene. And I said, like, this is like mailbox baseball. Like, you have to slow down before you hit the thing that you're going to hit, or you're going to go flying out of the car, or it's going to take your arm with you. So,
and,
like
10 miles seems slow enough to see who did
Oh,
it.
yes.
yes.
And
well,
to
that's
even,
the
like,
argument.
for them to even say something to him as they were doing it or
Yeah.
something,
Yeah.
and he could hear it.
Yeah, for sure. Christophe went back to the apartment and confronted Curtis, saying he believed Curtis knew exactly who came after him. Curtis eventually named names, saying that one of the boys involved was the boy he had fought with the night before. Then they cut to Curtis, and he says that they forced him to tell him the names, and that it's, quote, it's like threatening someone, you know, end quote. He says they scared him into saying that, and it wasn't right. I have to say that Curtis is really coming off as a shitheel throughout this whole ordeal. Later, Curtis recanted, telling the police that he had given the names to the PI because he was pressured. Curtis said that the truck was going really fast and that they've done, quote, lie detector tests on him.
No, he said they've done lying detector tests on me.
That's right, lying
Because he's an
detector
idiot.
tests.
He's
Yeah.
the
so
least
dumb.
well-spoken person.
He is
Yes,
very...
the opposite of
He just, like,
well-spoken.
comes off as terrible. Oh, God, there's so much. Wait, just wait. It gets worse. Okay. He says in a very roundabout way that he's cooperated and being truthful. Cut back to Christophe, who says, nah, he fucking saw those people and he's being a puss.
End quote.
End quote. I'm such a reliable reporter.
File it under Puss.
But also, pusses are strong.
Yeah. They are. Pusses are stronger than dicks. You're
Yes.
right.
All the episode
What was?
names.
Did you have another thing you wanted?
And that was it.
Oh, that was the only thing you wanted to say?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, you're right, Eliza. Pusses are stronger
That
than
was
dicks.
like with a finger in the air, you guys.
That was your
Well, I was just
Pusses
saying.
are strong.
Because, okay, never mind. I just
Okay. Oh, it is so early. We have got to keep it together.
We're doing great.
Oh, shit. Okay. So, Christophe didn't call him a puss, but, he was being a puss. He said that
But we like pusses.
Oh, no. So, he was being a dick.
Ooh.
We like dicks, too, though. I love how we're equal opportunity when it comes to genitalia on this podcast.
I'm just trying to say, I think that we should not use puss as a put down.
Oh, absolutely not. No, yes, you're right.
So he was being a dick, not a puss.
Yeah.
If he were being a puss,
what about being a bitch?
Yeah.
See, that's still female oriented, but I do say that more than puss, I guess.
What about a dick bitch? Oh. I fucking nailed that, you guys. We're done with this conversation.
All right, move on.
Moving forward.
Okay, you nailed it.
Dick
Thanks.
bitch. Christophe says that Curtis told him that he was threatened for snitching and was very frightened he'd be killed, and that he'd also been threatened to not talk in this case as well. Gary Strom, Jenny's stepfather, says that the real mystery is that every time someone is about to come forward and give details, someone else gets to them first and they either disappear or they don't know anything. Diane says that she believes people have been paid off, threatened, and if anyone does try to come forward, the next day they don't want to do it, and, quote, people's mind don't change that fast. 3 months after the attack, Jenny Pratt came out of her coma. At first, she seemed incapable of thought and action, but after 12 weeks, she started physical therapy. 7 months later, Jenny began to speak. This is insane. Like, this speaks to so much of the human spirit and resilience and the ability to recover from trauma, physical trauma when you're young. And
also like progress in the medical world, because I don't think now they would just be like, she's brain dead to the parents when the first thing they walk in.
Sure. Yeah, like the first 10
You don't
minutes
know
they
that
get
yet?
there. Yeah.
God.
You're absolutely right. You're totally right. Jenny begins to speak. A year later, she walks. And I'm like, damn, Jenny is a fucking badass, man.
She really is.
She really is. Jerry Stenheim says that he doesn't think it's possible that there's any way the memories of the attack can be recalled. He says that she could be told things and she could repeat them, but to remember the actual events is virtually impossible.
Like, they'll never be able to use her as a witness.
Yeah. Oh, and then they cut to Jenny, who looks nothing like her photos from the beginning of the segment. I'm going to play what she says because it's heartbreaking. She had so much going for her, and now it's work for her to form a complex sentence.
Yeah.
I'm not going to really talk about the quote. I'll just play it.
Anybody in the state could tell me who hurted me, I would appreciate that very badly, because you don't know how bad I would appreciate the feeling that somebody does love me and somebody does really care about me.
It's devastating. It's heartbreaking. Christophe says that they just need someone in the community with half the courage of Jenny Pratt, because this fucking girl's amazing, to provide the missing link. Yeah. He says, we just need the one thing that will tie this whole thing together. All we're missing is one small link, and somewhere out there has it. Like, I don't know, fucking Curtis, the world's shittiest boyfriend. Byler basically says that they only want the person who hit Jenny, which is so smart of him to say. He's like, listen, if you were in the fucking truck, we don't care. We just want the person that hit her.
Yeah, I thought that was interesting.
You know, and that really gives like a lot of motive to tell on someone.
Absolutely.
You know, if anyone who was in the truck comes forward, they will not be prosecuted. And then I'm going to close out the segment of Diane talking.
I see a lot of hard work, needless work that had to be done because some fool did this to her. A brain injury, you live with that for the rest of your life. And I sometimes wonder if it is living, really. I'll always love Jenny, but I sure miss the old Jenny.
The show doesn't provide an update, which we're going to start now moving into that more often.
Yeah.
We're sort of used to it, so it's really jarring when the show isn't like update and then they tell you something.
Yeah.
There's no update.
It's like the original way we watched it.
Yeah.
Apparently, somewhere down the line, we're going to revisit Jenny. I think it's part of like a special episode.
Oh.
So maybe we can talk about like what went on in that episode. I didn't really want to talk about it here because we have so much content to get through.
That's fine.
Okay.
But did it say that in the episode?
No, it says it.
Oh, okay.
That's interesting that Amazon wouldn't have edited it. Oh, because they didn't film an official update.
They didn't film an official update. It's actually like, I don't know if the entire episode is an update episode, so that's why I didn't want to like, I think it's in season 3.
Well, I bet
Okay.
it's like we've been encountering these weird little segments, like shorter ones, and I bet it's something like that, like an update
Yeah.
about her progress press or something like
Well,
that.
I think and all the other updates we've seen happened almost immediately after the airing of the episode. So that makes sense because this was way later.
Yeah.
It might just be a special segment.
Well, there was also some discussion that Stack had become like he was personally moved by the story. So in like what is rare and doesn't happen a lot, that he invited Jenny and the Stroms back on to the show.
Okay.
So some people were saying like this only happens one or two other times where he like brings people on to interview them and talk to them, and they think that he had probably like
Wow, yeah.
Oh my gosh, I can't wait to see that.
yeah.
Okay.
Another interesting thing is the girl who played Jenny in the reenactment, the actress who played her. Apparently, Jenny's family was broke with all of the treatments and stuff that she needed, so she organized like a walkathon or something.
Oh my god.
Okay.
And like
so
became friends with
nice.
Jenny and stayed in touch with the family. And I tried to look her up, but I couldn't find anything on her. But I believe I have her name at the end of the segment,
that's
so I'll
amazing.
mention it. Yeah. In my notes, I will lose my absolute shit if I find out this case was never solved. And then 3 like spaces down, it says, "Cue me losing my fucking shit because this case was never solved."
Oh no.
Yep. So I'm
What
gonna
year was it again? 87. Okay.
So I'm going to try to make this as unconfusing as possible, but there are a lot of moving parts. First things first, the fucking statute of limitations for this case is gone. It depends on like what the perpetrator is charged with. And in this, most likely, if the person who did it came forward or the people in the car, nothing would happen to anybody.
I don't understand the definitely for rape or sexual assault. I don't understand statute of
Yeah.
limitations, but I don't get it in any case.
I think that
What
this-
is the point?
So I think that the way that this would be sold to the court system is that it was a prank that became a bigger accident. So the statute of limitations for someone pulling a quote prank.
Okay, but
when
isn't
you're
there
like,
another term for that can still get you fucking arrested? Like,
No.
I mean,
it can get you arrested, but I think this, but yeah, like I said, I mean, I have like a whole quote here. I'll post the quote of the definition in the notes. I don't want to like give this whole like legal mumbo jumbo.
Yeah. It's just so crazy that, like, I don't know why we put years on things like this. The person still did it,
Yes.
even if it's 10 years out
Unless
or
they're
20
charging
years
the
out.
person with first degree murder, which they can't charge this person with first degree murder because it was
Yeah.
not a planned murder or attack or whatever. Unless it's first degree murder, there's a statute of limitations.
On everything. Mm-hmm. Even
Yeah,
attempted murder.
Oh, of course, attempted murder for sure. That probably goes away in like
I just
10
don't
years.
get it. How is
doesn't
that a
matter
thing?
that you killed a fucking person. It's
Or
fine.
almost killed a person.
How
Yeah.
is that? It doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
I mean, there must be, obviously, there's a reason we have it, but it's like, well, that person's not rehabilitated just because it's been 20 years since they did it or
Yeah.
they were
Right.
never caught.
Doesn't mean they haven't done it a
Oh,
million
I
more
don't
times.
understand. Okay.
Yeah, so I think the statute of limitations for this specific event was only 6 years. So that means
ridiculous.
that for the last, I don't know, 25
Yeah,
years,
they're-
somebody could have come forward and said, "Hey, I was in the truck."
Because guaranteed, everybody in that truck knew the results of what happened.
Fuck yes, because it was everywhere, and I'll get to that too.
course.
I think the reason why is that area of California is very wealthy. So whoever was in that truck, and the whole internet knows, and the whole town knows at least 2 of the people who were in that truck.
Oh.
The whole internet knows who was driving, and the whole internet knows who swung the board.
Oh, wow.
So that area of California is white and fucking rich. These are men. And all of the teens in the car were wealthy. And it isn't super miraculous that they haven't turned on each other because they all know that even if one of them doesn't go to jail, within the community, they have a lot to lose. Like, they probably all have families of their own now. There's no way that someone's going to come forward and get embroiled in this scenario
Yeah.
when they've just gotten off scot-free.
Yep.
There's no motivation for them. I mean, aside from being human and not a total fucking garbage person, that would have them come forward.
Right.
You know? This is the story of privilege. Like, when I was reading about the story, I'm thinking of, like, the movie Less Than Zero with Robert Downey Jr., where like all these like California kids are like partying and blowing coke and like just have like a total like empty vapid existence in the 80s. And there's another book by Brett, I think it's Bret Easton Ellis, and it's called The Informers, I believe. And it's the same thing where you're just like this shitty, like, nobody, your parents are never around, like you have free reign
They
to do
can
whatever
do
the
no
fuck
wrong.
you want. And I believe that one of the people involved, father was like a sheriff or high up in the police department.
even the OC, which was way past that, had that vibe kind of
totally.
like those kids were doing whatever they wanted.
I mean, I don't
houses
know.
down and stuff.
Like, I would love to know what it's like to be fucking rich, white,
Yeah,
and
I mean, I
left
have
alone
no
to my own
idea.
devices. But, I mean, I don't know if it's like that anymore. I don't know what it's like. I haven't experienced it personally. But this specific story is just a complete and total stereotype when you
Yeah,
think of,
it
like,
just seems
the
like-
empty life of, like, wealthy California.
Yeah, it seems like a
elite
common
teens.
thread.
Yeah.
So I went to Sitcoms Online, of course.
Hello.
A gentleman by the name of Mike Fairbanks was a poster in 2011. He begins by saying that he doesn't post frequently, but he has some information and probably won't post again. And he does, however, end up responding to like 1 or 2 comments later. So I believe he's a real person with real information. He's just like not a forum person.
Yeah.
So I don't have his quote, the whole quote, but I have some points. The first is that Jenny Pratt is alive and lives in a group home. She visits her sister occasionally. He says that she is mentally deficient, if that's the right term. I don't know if it is. She can carry on a conversation, but pretty much thinks like a small child. She's very healthy, but the damage was permanent.
Yeah.
The name of the guy who threw the board was passed around constantly. The guy who threw the board died by suicide. He said that we heard over and over that blank threw the board, but for some reason the guys kept very tight-lipped about it. This shocked me because I was amazed that a group of guys who were such rats would actually stick together.
Yeah.
They were a dumb bunch of poser thugs and called themselves the 502 crew.
Oh,
Ew.
gross.
502 being the California code for
Yeah.
a DUI. It isn't even like a code for something badass.
Oh, I thought it was like their area code or something.
No, or like, you know, like
Oh, those. Oh my gosh.
yeah, like or
Stupid.
like have like a police code for something cool, but like for a
Yeah.
DUI, like that's that's the dumbest thing to be arrested
Well,
for.
but it's just going back
Embarrassing
to that
thing.
we do whatever we want.
Yeah,
thing.
exactly. Yeah, we drive drunk. I mean, but
Yeah.
it was 86. Everybody was
God.
driving drunk. You know, like
Idiots.
when did Mad happen? Like that didn't happen. I think that happened
Oh, yeah,
around
no.
right then because
Yeah.
all these kids were dying
Because
in
they
car
had
accidents.
502 crews.
Yeah, because they had the driving drunk crews. And he says they were an obnoxious bunch who loved to fight, do drugs, etc. They were out of control. That particular time saw San Diego awash in cocaine. So this Carlsbad is the San Diego like area, San
Yeah.
Diego County. It was everywhere and a lot of people were selling it. There wasn't a lot of violence then, but it occasionally happened. These guys were as much preppies as they were wannabe gangsters. They dressed like dorks. That's adorable.
That's so cute.
Yeah. He says Jenny Pratt's family wants to be left alone about the case. They know the truth and they have stated they refuse to give his name or the name or any time or recognition by stating it.
What?
So I guess for them, there's not enough evidence. Everybody knows who did it and there's not enough evidence.
Oh.
Fairbanks says, what I think happened was that Croft and Jenny were riding the motorcycle and the dorks in the trucks just happened to see them pass by and followed at a distance. They probably didn't intend to kill anyone, but wanted to knock the crap out of Croft. So one of them swung the board, and the rest is history. Back in 88, it was still a relatively small town, and if you cruised the town for an hour or two, you'd pretty much recognize most of the people driving around. So Croft, come on, you know who these guys are.
Yes. You probably knew everybody's car.
Exactly.
You know?
That's what I was saying. Like, white pickup truck, how many people have
Yeah.
And
one?
also, these kids are such idiots for not knowing that that would seriously harm someone.
Yes, I know.
Like, come
Well,
on.
it's very difficult. I mean, yeah. As an adult, thinking about that infuriates me.
I
As
think
a teenager,
high school age is old enough to know.
I don't know.
They do stupid things, but
do
yeah, they
stupid
should
things.
know.
They should know. You're right.
And
they
but they
should
were
know.
probably drunk. Not
Yeah.
that that's an
Yeah, they
excuse,
were probably
but I'm
drunk.
sure
You're
they
probably
weren't
right.
sober.
That's the next line. The guys in the truck were probably drunk and more, in parentheses, and just did something rash to a guy they thought was a jerk. And the whole thing grew bigger than anyone ever expected. If it was, as many speculate, quote, revenge for a bad drug deal, then it was an intent to kill. Our town wasn't like that. There were a lot of jerks, but no real gangs or anything, just a bunch of posers like the 502 crew. He says, the family likes hearing from Jenny's old friends, but not strangers. Leave them alone. It's over. It's not important for us to satisfy our own need for justice in the case if the family doesn't want your attention.
Wow.
And then he says, in Encinitas, the mystery was never a true mystery. Most people knew who did it. The frustration was that nobody turned them in, but they all knew. My wife went to school with Jenny and was the same age. I was 3 years older. It's no longer an unsolved mystery. It's just a case in which justice came late in the form of suicide by by the perpetrator. I don't think that's fucking justice, but whatever.
No.
Another commenter, the NC Surfer, NC, so like Encino, ENCI
okay.
Surfer, wrote, Mike Fairbanks describes well those days in Encinitas. Lots of coke and cash. I heard much later that Jim did it on orders of Mark, a dealer who is now in prison pretty much for the rest of his life for other later crimes. Croft had squealed on Mark, sending him to jail, ? I don't know. And so Mark wanted to punish him. Jenny was not the target, apparently. I also heard that Mark, perhaps out of guilt, then cynically started a relationship with Jenny's sister with the idea to somehow try to help the family.
Oh, gross.
God.
I don't really know the history. I heard speculation that Jim's guilty conscience led to his suicide. And I suppose people didn't talk because they feared Mark. But here's the thing. NC Surfer has only posted once, and he posted just that comment. And someone who was a pretty well-known Encino Surfer back in those days is Curtis Kraft. We're going to circle back to Curtis, but it's not exactly a secret that he loves to pop up on message boards as other people.
Oh my God.
So if this is Curtis Kraft, and I do think it is, there probably may be some truth to that statement, but the motivations for the teens are still debated. Was it a bunch of boys just being boys in a random act of violence? Was it some big drug dealer who was coming for Curtis? Was it a low-level rich kid who Curtis stole some drugs from? I have to say that I don't fucking care, because there are 4 to 7 grown men out there who know who brutally attacked a 16-year-old girl with a fucking 2x4, and their entitlement and disregard for her and the justice she deserves is literally the only thing stopping them from coming forward.
Yep.
Fucking assholes. So a quote from the LA Times article in 1986, quote, many people seem certain that the culprits come from ranks of high school's party crowd, bored and unrepentant youths with too much money and too little parental supervision. You fucking think?
Yeah.
Holly Lightbody was also interviewed in the same article, and she says, she was, like I said, a friend of Jenny's. She says, quote, everybody had a pretty good idea who did it. Lightbody was so sure, in fact, that she decided to make a point. Accompanied by Penny Pratt, Jenny's 17-year-old sister, Lightbody says she went up to the house of the teenage youth she suspects of checking the board, and she tacked a poster to the front door of his home bearing 2 sharply contrasting photographs. One is a tan and smiling Jenny before the accident, and the other is the woman that was left in tragedy's wake.
What a queen.
Hi, Holly Lightbody. If you are out there, please write to us, because you're a fucking queen.
Yeah.
God, that gave
good
me such
for
bumps.
you, girl. Like, holy shit. The only person to
That
be
is
like,
amazing.
hey, fuckface, we all know that you fucking did this. You know?
Like, really seriously look at what you've done.
Like, look at what you've done.
my God.
Look at the carnage that you brought to this
And she's
totally
like, if there's no
innocent
legal
person.
action, I'm just going to
Yeah.
make sure you know.
I want you to know that we all fucking know.
Jesus,
Yeah.
wow.
Yep. That girl's
Queen.
fucking, yeah, she's
incredible.
amazing. So who was driving the truck? Oh, these are my viz aids. This is fun.
Oh, we get visual
Yeah, so
aids.
I have viz aids for the girls, listeners, and we will post them as well. I just have to do some Photoshop to edit out some of I have to put things over the people's faces because I don't want us to get in trouble.
Yeah.
So who was driving the truck and who threw the board? Most people who say they know what happened say that the board was thrown, not hit.
Okay.
I don't fucking care.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
Unless you're a 2x4 sharpshooter, you probably shouldn't take the risk of hitting one person and not another when they're 3 inches away on a fucking motorcycle.
Yeah.
And one is in front of the other.
Yes, like, come on. I don't give a fuck. It was thrown, whatever.
Yeah.
The name of the teenage driver on everyone's lips in the 80s and on the fingertips from the 90s until now is a man named Tim. You're welcome, Tim. I'm not going to say your last name. I found Tim immediately. Hi, Tim. And I have to officially say that although I don't know for sure if he was driving, a lot of your old school chums are talking about you, Tim. But I'm sure you know that. This is all alleged, but it's from at least a dozen people who all claim to know that everyone knows it was Tim. So yikes to that. After finding Tim's... Ooh, I almost said your last name, Tim. Shit. After finding the name, I, of course, navigated to Facebook, where people don't know how to make their settings, so everything's public, and I found his Facebook page. His banner image at the top of the page was this.
No.
Oh my God.
No.
So the banner at the top of the page was a picture of Tim and 3 of his high school friends. Unfortunately, the high school friends were not tagged.
Which one is him? Can you point him out to me?
He's this one.
Show me.
So I'm assuming,
Oh, of course.
I'm assuming 3 of those bros in that picture, at least one of those bros, was in the fucking truck.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, no one was tagged in the photograph, so I couldn't continue digging in. So,
He's still reliving. Who has?
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Those were
honeys.
his glory days.
honeys,
Oh,
it gets so much better / grosser.
Because he would be, what, in his 50s now? Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah. So to explain it, yeah, it's him as a high schooler, probably. Like,
And the high school that all of these people attended is San Dieguito High School Academy. There are these people who peaked in high school and can't let it go. And Tim, hi Tim, is one of those people. So lucky for me and unlucky for Tim, his account isn't set to private and he has tons of photos of high school up on his account.
Wow.
Isn't that fun, everyone?
So fun.
Here, let's look at another one. Here we go. Eliza, do you want to read the comments? Because those are delightful too.
oh my gosh. Okay. One of them says, "Love it. Miss all of you." Another one says, "The perfect picture that defines the times. Cool. A picture that embodies our state of mind now and then." It's 4 guys, 3 of them doing a hang loose sign.
Oh my God.
And then Tim says, "I think it's totally awesome that every time any of us post a back in the day photo, not once has anyone not smiled ear to ear or ever talked smack."
Oh, I know who hasn't smiled from ear to ear. Jenny fucking Pratt, because she isn't even on Facebook.
He says, "We all ran and ruled Encinitas. LOL."
Oh my God. And I'm sorry, but like it's already sad enough for those to be your glory days that you're still trying to live in.
But when you
But knowing
fucking
what
helped
happened during that time.
assault a 16-year-old girl and you're still reveling in this shit,
This guy looks like Curtis to me.
Ultimate scumbag.
that's not Curtis.
It's not for sure. 'Cause look,
Yeah, no, it's not
they
him.
all just look like.
They all look the same.
Yeah.
Yeah, so his Facebook has like a bunch of pictures from high school because, you know, when you live in the past, you take photos of your old photos and put them up and people can tell you how cool you were.
Yeah.
And then I didn't screen grab this, but there's one photo posted of a scrappy young lad, and it garnered an adorable comment where Tim's father said, quote, "Oh, I believe that's where all the trouble started." And Tim replies, quote, "Not bad, Dad, but the principal claims I hit him 23 times in the stomach with my skateboard after he blindsided me off my skateboard and threw me into the wall and I fell to the ground."
Oh my God.
What? I'm sorry. Like, really?
So
this is a public forum because you haven't made your page private and you're telling the world that you hit your principal in the stomach with a skateboard as a child 23 times.
Cool.
And we're supposed to believe that when the internet says that you had something to do with this, you didn't have anything to do with it. Okay. So apparently, yeah, so Tim has had some run-ins with the law up until about 4 years ago.
I'm completely shocked.
I know.
by that.
I was really surprised too, you guys. I couldn't believe it because
Yeah.
he just seems like such a sweetheart. You
It
know?
can't be.
Yeah, he seems like someone who really cares about his fellow man. So then, who wielded the board? The man's name was James or Jimmy, and he died. Like I had said before, took his own life. There was somebody who went by the name of Air Gonda in 2011 said, "Jimmy was the one who I believe threw the board that hit Jenny in the head. This is only my own speculation, not confirmed, but I knew both Jenny and Curtis and still know Curtis. No one ever came forward that was in the truck with them that night. I know if I had the evidence at the time, Jimmy would have been charged, but unfortunately this case will remain unsolved forever. Jimmy committed suicide, and I believe the guilt of this assault was the main reason. Jimmy's mother never released the suicide note, and the police were not aware that he left one.
Whoa.
She got it before anyone knew and kept what he wrote a secret.
Oh my God.
I really believe that Jenny Pratt's name was on that note.
And even his fucking mother.
That's what I'm saying. It is a culture of insulation, protection, entitlement, and and your reputation, right? Like, why would the mother want his name out? Like, he's dead. Now she would just have to deal with it. So it's just easier not to.
Yeah.
They have no evidence, so why would you come forward? you know?
So this
this
is
is
whose
making me so
house the Holly woman tacked up the
I believe it was
pictures. either
either Tim or Jim.
Okay.
That
She
she
put
put
the-
the
her
picture up
pictures
on.
up.
Yeah, that would be my theory. And then so this man goes by Argonda, and then he also goes by Surf Rat. So he says in another comment, I was friends with the Pratt family and also Curtis Croft. I was good enough friends with Curtis that if he knew who hurt Jenny, he would have told me. However, through the grapevine, I did hear the driver could have been Tim, and the guy who threw the board was Jim, who is now dead due to suicide. Back when I found this out, the detectives were aware of the story and did an interview with both Tim and Jimmy, but nothing ever came out of it. Totally baffled by that, but what can you do? Oh, Croft's longtime friend Surf Rat claims that Croft's father was the chief of police in Pasadena at the time, which might explain why this is a cold case. Exposing the perpetrators might have been further embarrassment for the family, especially when the truth of why they did what they did would have come to light. It wasn't about stolen items from an apartment, that's for damn sure. So basically, I guess the dad was the chief of police, already super embarrassed that Curtis was in jail for cocaine possession.
Curtis's dad was.
Yeah. Yeah.
Gosh.
So he
this
couldn't-
episode never said anything about that, did it?
Nope, all of this
No.
is my research.
Wow.
So the dad didn't want the embarrassment, so he told Curtis to keep his mouth shut. So Curtis didn't say who he saw so that nobody would be embarrassed. Meanwhile, there's Jenny, like,
Oh my
who
God.
is still functioning at the level of a child in her 50s. She's in her 50s now. I wanted a photo of Jimmy, but I couldn't find anything. He has a really common last name. I believe that he died in 94 in San Diego. So that was like about 7 years after the attack. And he would have been only about 21, 22.
Yeah.
So,
Well, especially when the whole town knows what you've done.
Yeah.
Like, that's a long time to live with
well,
that
and I
guilt.
think he actually moved out of the town, but he still stayed in the county. And like, you know what? You should feel guilty. I mean, I think instead of killing yourself, like killing yourself was an easier out than
Yeah.
fucking fessing up and
course.
going to jail. Like,
Yeah.
what a
No,
fucking
selfish.
coward,
Yeah.
you know? So now we're moving to Curtis Croft. Curtis Croft is a piece of work. People make the argument that it was the death of Jenny that made him break from society. He felt villainized. He felt that people didn't believe him. He has online supporters who I honestly can't tell if it's him, like as other people, because he
Right.
does it all of the time.
sure.
Or if it's actually people who he's friends with. But they were saying that he was getting himself together after his 85 arrest. He was trying to improve himself. I don't know. All I know about this person is who they are in the public eye. And it's like, I'm going to play some clips for you guys right now, and I don't think I'm going to put all of the clips into the episode. So why don't we pause while I play the clips,
Okay.
and then we'll decide later what goes in the episode. So we'll just talk about like some of the clips, okay? Okay, so I just played some clips of Curtis Croft for Eliza and Karlin.
We are honestly horrified. It's 1,000 times worse than I ever
Like,
thought.
I don't think I've ever been so disgusted sitting here at this microphone.
So we're not going to, I might play just a little bit of a quote or a little bit of a soundbite for him so you guys can hear what he sounds like.
Am I 6 years old wearing a white tank top and a pink hat? You fucking moron!
But I'm not playing any of the quotes in full. We don't feel comfortable linking to
No,
them.
we don't want him
Yes.
to get any more attention.
One of them is a horribly racist rant
Yeah.
on YouTube that he just posted of himself being so rageful, and we don't need to put more of that out into the world, obviously.
Yeah, no, we're good with
And
that
please
right
don't
now.
go find it because we don't want him to have more views.
Yeah, because
No,
every time
he
you...
doesn't deserve anything.
But just know it's
he's awful.
one
He's
of the
an
worst
awful,
things I've
disgusting
ever seen.
person.
Yeah. So there's, I don't know if we want to include this, but I'm telling you guys this. There's a video where he's swinging a baseball bat and asking if that's realistic enough for you, I guess whoever he's talking to. If I had been involved in a crime like this, even if I didn't perpetrate the crime, I probably would have spent the rest of my life laying low and, you know, maybe trying to work to sort of like right my universe points, you know, like you didn't cause it, but you did inadvertently cause it because chances are they were coming after Curtis.
Yeah.
And, you know, so then moving forward, I would probably try to become a better person. if I was sort of a shitty person, and I got this girl almost killed. But Curtis doesn't do that. Curtis was on a show called Battlefield Alcatraz. And it's basically 7 people in a prison cell who have to do challenges proposed by viewers on the internet.
Oh.
And it's hosted by it's produced and hosted by a billionaire, I believe he's British, named Alki David. They do really stupid and awful things, like slap each other as hard as they can in the face to get food. And if you want to lose an hour of your life, I'll put the show link in the notes.
Gross. No.
It's a disgusting display. I mean, it's horrible. And I guess this guy, Alki David, has a ton of money, and just for his entertainment, he will put people in rooms and make them fight.
Oh my!
It's the epitome of a dystopian future where the wealthy have the poor fight for their entertainment.
I was feeling so good about humans before coming in here.
You really shouldn't. So then here's another instance of Curtis on the internet. He's in a chat room and he tells everyone that Jenny Pratt is dead and that she died last week, which is not true. Jenny Pratt is alive.
Why?
I don't know, Karlin. He's crazy. I don't know.
Do we want to read what this other person said?
All of this stuff we have. Well, not all of it, but some of it we have to put up in our Instagram.
What the hell?
Yeah.
Ugh.
He's everywhere, and he was on this TV show, and he claims that it was his character, and that he isn't really like that. But I can't believe that, because you are who you are.
And what person would choose to be represented that way on the internet?
Yeah. Wow. So, most recently, Curtis was arrested in 2013 in Oregon, ladies. He lives here.
Oh, great.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And he was arrested for growing pot, which I find super funny.
And also, of all the things he's done, that's not really...
But they found him by Google Maps. His pot field was so exposed that the police saw it on Google Maps and then just went and arrested him.
The truest idiot of all fucking time.
Yeah, so this is from the drug bust for Curtis Croft. Rogue area drug enforcement agents raided Croft's property in the small town of Grants Pass, Oregon. Mm-hmm. So after Google Earth images helped authorities track down the internet star. So he was an internet star. If you followed this show, you know who Curtis Croft is. And then...
gross people watch that shit.
I don't know. I mean, watching the video, and I do think it is worth watching for a few minutes, because to me it was just Mad Max or something, where a rich guy is on a television in the room reading demands from viewers what to get them to do so they could get food. I mean, it's just it would be the Hunger Games or something.
That's what I was just going to say. It's just like the Hunger Games. It seems
it is so insane that we talk about these things as if they're science fiction or fantasy, and they're not. We just don't know about them because we are not in that world,
and we don't want to be.
Goodness.
No, I know. It's a good thing to know that's out there. This isn't some far-flung future where this is now. It's happening now. The person who wrote the article, he said that Curtis is actually a very polite, but just
shut up,
but passionate man. So I have the link for this article, obviously, because it's a source, but I don't know who wrote it. And it's filmon.com. So this isn't it's not like the Huffington Post or something. Croft is really worried about the safety of his family. However, he isn't too worried about it because he says, quote, bad publicity makes good publicity for anyone. He says, laughing, quote, look at OJ. He got back in trouble again like a moron. And he hit some of the biggest records in the media. I don't know what that means. I don't know how we hit a record in the media. You guys are here talking to me and I'm getting attention. That's why we're not going to link to his fucking YouTube videos.
Don't watch it.
And he follows it up with this. I still have plenty of fighting spirit left in me. Gotta remember, I'm a troll too, he says, so I'm always gonna troll back. I mean, isn't that sort of what the current culture, 50% or 49% of the American culture is kind of like that right now? We're so divided now between people who are working really hard not to insult and infringe on people, and then, a group of people who are just really fucking leaning into it.
Oh, yeah.
And who believe they're better than other people.
And he has millions of fans. He's got people that write to him and
Gross.
Yeah.
Goodbye.
Yeah. While we're on sitcoms, so we're moving away from Curtis because that's all the attention that
Bye,
he gets.
forever.
Bye, Curtis.
Bye.
On Sitcoms Online, there was a comment from Lieutenant Byler, a guy who, the lieutenant that was in the episode, who was on the case. And his comment was about the private investigator. He linked to a New York Times article from 2008 that was pretty interesting. It said, left unchecked by his state health department bosses, Louis Christofi, a supervising narcotics investigator with a yen for addicted fentanyl lollipops, took over a New York City narcotics control office, abused suspects' right, and endangered lives. This is what the New York State Inspector General has found. Quote, it is also said he had falsified his credentials and was essentially unqualified for the job. Sorry, I'm trying to look for... I know. So Christofi, he had been forced off the police department in National City, California, near San Diego, for dating an exotic dancer. The report also said he staged a dangerously amateurish sting operation and interrogated suspects over protests that they wanted a lawyer. And that was not all. For nearly a year, the report said, Mr. Christofi misused official parking permits to avoid moving his personal vehicle in front of his apartment building during scheduled street cleaning hours. He drove a yellow Porsche.
Of course he did.
Of course he did.
Because, you got to compensate.
So this goes along with what Lieutenant Byler said in a 1988 LA Times piece about the assault. He said that the tactics the private investigators used in interviewing Croft were totally unacceptable. You don't take a victim of a crime and threaten him. Basically, I feel like the value of what they obtained was worthless from an investigative standpoint. Byler also rejected criticism from the Stroms that police manhandled the board that hit Jenny. He said the 2x4 was processed as a weapon in a serious crime and that no fingerprints were found, primarily because we're dealing with a rough, textured, worn piece of wood. Any inferences that we have done less than our best is not true, Byler said. It's a difficult case. What happens is that rumors just start flying. We've been going around for months tracking down rumors and fourth or fifth hand accounts of who did it. But as far as something to build a case on, we're not even close. Everyone knows who did it, but there's no evidence.
So we like Byler.
I mean, Byler, I think is doing his best in a city where nobody's telling him any information.
Yeah.
And then you've got this Louis
Christofi
guy running around intimidating people into giving either realistic claims, but then redacting it so it doesn't matter anyway.
Right.
You can't use it in a court of law.
Right.
So if anything, Christofi was causing more problems
hindering
because
the case.
Yeah.
he was hindering the case because you need evidence. You can't just have a bunch of people saying things.
Yeah.
And the issue is there's no physical evidence. So everyone can know who did this, but there is no physical evidence. We're all, I know, wondering what happened with Jenny. Like I said, she's in a home. There's nothing of her online. I believe that her and her sister used to be on Facebook. Neither of them are, or if they are, they're under different names. I have to say that I found Diane and Gary. A few times I thought I had found Jenny and her sisters, but I think they've done a lot of work to remain anonymous.
Yeah.
So I stopped because if they wanted to remain anonymous, I'm not going to be the one that finds out where they are or what they're doing. That's not fair.
Yeah.
Everyone is still in California.
Well, and that one person that posted was like, her family doesn't want attention.
Yeah, of course. And I can imagine because this case on the forums, on unsolved.com and sitcomsonline.com, everybody is obsessed with this case because everyone knows that everyone knows who did it.
Yeah.
So you have all of these people, and I'm sure you've got a lot of armchair detectives who feel like they're doing something good, who are reaching out, and they're probably like, this was in 87.
Yeah.
Just let it go. So this is the last bit that I found out about Jenny. This is from August of 2011, and it was written by Melissa Pratt, who is Jenny's sister. She wrote, I just added pics of Jenny Pratt. I know you all wonder how she is. It's been a long and hard road. She isn't the same Jenny, but she's our different Jenny. She is a sweet, beautiful woman. She's in a home now. She needs to be with people like her, and not her parents who are ill and getting up in their age. It was a heartbreaking decision, but as a family, we all decided it was the best for her. She has a job and friends and is adjusting well. Do we miss the old Jenny? Of course. Do we love the Jenny we know now? Well, we have known her longer. She has been this Jenny for far more than half of her life.
Yeah.
So once again, I would love to share so much more of Jenny on this site. She really is worth knowing. She keeps making sure we live our lives like it was the last. You are just blessed by knowing her. But please keep your comments positive. Like I posted earlier, lots of families were hurt by this. No need to point fingers. Sorry, Tim. We just would love for people who knew her to say nice things and let her know she's remembered that she is loved. And that's it.
Wow.
Wow.
Wealth and entitlement and psychopathy. California in the 1980s.
Yeah, like there's something mentally wrong with
a lot of, well, I think there's something
I mean, everybody.
spiritually
but
wrong
clearly
with
there's
all of
something
these people.
Wrong.
You know, but yes, I think that Croft might just have a little bit of mental illness that's exacerbated by his time on Battle Cam.
Yeah.
And probably, I'm sure life wasn't easy for him after this. But there are two directions that you can take yourself. And you can either try to be a better person or you can blame everyone else for your problems and turn into
A monster.
a monster.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, that's the tale of Jenny Pratt and Curtis Croft, guys.
Wow.
Yep.
Good job, girl.
Thanks.
I hate everyone.
I hate everyone.
All right. My story is a wanted segment and could also be called Fraud. Did they have Fraud as a segment
Yes.
title? So it could have been either one, really.
I agree. Splitsies.
It is about a man named Jack Quinn, and his full official name is John Anthony Quinn, but they call him Jack in the whole segment. Here we go. I can do this.
You can do it.
This is your favorite.
I can care about this after that last segment.
You either have missing and murdered children or elderly people,
Yeah.
or the most like whitest, entitled, richest old guy segments.
Yep. All right. So Jack Quinn was the vice president and general manager of a company called Federal Protection Services, which is basically like when you see armored cars delivering money or taking money from stores and keeping it safe. That's what that company does. So security and armed guards firm. And they also have like vaults where they keep the money. Basically my dream, especially if you want to steal money like he does. So every day the company handled millions of dollars in cash, and this is in the 80s, so multi-millions of dollars. Double it, basically.
Jillians.
And Jack oversaw the company's security operations.
Oh, convenient.
So at 8 a.m. on Saturday, April 9th, 1988, Jack arrived at his office. Only a few people were there. One of them was his supervisor named Harry Goldberg. And while Harry was working at his desk, Jack was working in the vault. He was doing some work. And I love the reenactment because he's just like smoking a cigar the whole time.
Cigar in his mouth the entire time.
The entire time goes into Harry's office. Hey, Harry, I'm going to take care of the drop today. And just smoking his cigar.
like clenched in his teeth like he's in a movie.
The
It's so
actor looks like the dad on Happy Days to me.
good. Oh, nice.
Harry often passed by the vault that day and did not notice Jack doing anything strange. And the vault is like you think of it as a small vault. It's huge. Like it's a walk-in thing. There's a desk in there. There's several gates or whatever to the money. Like it's
It's like
giant.
our podcast room, but it's just surrounded by fucking money.
Yeah, a dream. Someday our podcast room will be
It's
surrounded
what
by
our-
money.
It's what
Someday.
the future of our podcast room is going to look like.
Stacks on stacks on stacks.
Yes.
And yes, that was a stack joke.
Feels good to laugh again.
All right. Somehow, without being detected, Jack transferred $1.3 million in cash from the vault into several boxes. Do you want to know how much money that is today?
Yes.
$2.7 million.
Oh my God. How is no one seeing you do this stuff?
Okay, also, you need to qualify transfer as physically moving.
Yes, like physically moving
yes,
and not like
into
the way
boxes.
you might transfer things from one account to another.
Oh, God, no, this is 1988.
No electronic transfer, honey.
No. This is, yes, And the bills were in all different denominations. I mean, truly, like boxes and boxes of over $1 million in cash, undetected.
So funny.
His coworkers are just like eating tuna sandwiches in the break room, or what?
I mean, the one guy was like, I mean, it just seemed fine.
He was as calm and cool as I could ever imagine him to be, or something.
Yeah, he does say something like that.
Then outside, Jack put the money in the trunk of his company car and some in the trunk of his personal car, and we'll get to that. Yeah, the whole day is just so fishy, and poor Harry, who's on the episode, just suspects nothing the whole time. So then Harry, his supervisor, is asked by Jack to just follow him home in his car so that he can drop his personal car at home, and then Harry can take him back to the office. No explanation needed, apparently.
I guess, like, I don't know. If they were friends, it would be like, hey, can you do me a favor and follow me to my car? I have to drop my car off, like, at my house and then drive me back. Like, if I said that to you, you'd be like,
yeah, and I think they were probably friends, or like Harry said, he just like everyone who ever says anything about anyone who does anything wrong, I never would have thought he would do this. Yeah. So Harry agrees, and they get to his house, and then he leaves the keys with his wife and tells her goodbye. He says, I just have to go back to the office for a little while, and then I'll be home. And his wife's name is Pauline. She's just like, goodbye. Okay. Like,
yeah, she's
like, why are you leaving your car here? That's weird.
Okay,
how are you going to get home?
I mean, who knows, like, how, like, maybe he just came and went as he pleased.
I mean, I think, yes, I think so.
Like, very much so, actually.
It seemed like, and I'm going to go out on a limb here, no offense to Pauline, it seemed like she didn't ask a lot of questions.
Right, exactly. Oh, just wait. Yes. So Pauline's like, okay, bye. Harry obviously is also completely unaware of Jack's plans, and he drives him back to the office. So after a few hours, Pauline is wondering, where is Jack? He said he would be home, and he still had not come home. So at about 7, she calls his office to ask where he is, and nobody there knows where he had gone. It doesn't say when, but eventually the company car was found at Palm Beach International Airport. And remember, that's where most of the money was. So the theory is that once back at work, Jack got into the company car where he had put the money. Again, over $1 million in loose cash just in boxes in the car.
It's
so much
heavy.
Money.
It's so heavy, too.
Yeah.
Over $1 million in bills is so heavy.
I have no idea. I've never
it's a lot of manual labor to physically move it. So how are people not seeing him do all this shit?
Also, what did D.B. Cooper have strapped to him?
Yeah, I know.
That
was just
22 pounds.
Yes.
And it was not $1 million, honey. I think it was like,
right.
what, 500,000, 250,000, something like that.
Yeah.
And that's 22 pounds. So this old cigar smoking motherfucker.
I should have looked up how much does money weigh.
It weighs a lot, Eliza.
I wouldn't know.
I weigh money every day.
So
I do. I literally do.
Oh, how much does it weigh?
How much does money weigh?
Well, no, it's not like that.
Oh, okay. Wow, but you weigh it, and then that's how you know how much is there. Mm-hmm. Whoa, instead
I think
of
they
a
do
counter. Okay, so the ticket on the car at the airport parking lot says that he must have gone into the parking lot around 5 p.m. But the car was empty, and there was no sign of Jack or the money. There is no evidence that he took a plane that day, but it also seems that in 1988, they didn't track passenger lists as strictly. We've had a few cases already where, like, people didn't know someone got on a plane, or he could have used a false name without an ID. Okay, so then let's jump back to Pauline. So Jack's gone. She doesn't know this. The next morning, after he has left, Pauline is like, where is he? She's searching the car, and she opens the trunk, and she finds the money that he's put in the trunk, which was $107,000 in cash.
That was nice of him.
Which would be about $228,000 in today's money.
It wasn't that nice of him, but it was.
Oh, well, it was nice of him, but she immediately turns it in.
Of course. I know. Pauline, you spend your whole life married to this man. You don't ask a question, like, and now you find some money in the trunk and you call the police. It would be great if in actuality she found $300,000 and was like, I only found 100.
She's like, oh my God, look at all this money.
Yeah.
Stuffing it in her pocket.
I wondered about that because
who would know?
Yeah. He was clearly leaving that money for her. She turns it in immediately.
He's
which
like,
don't
sorry.
You would also think he would know her well enough to know that she would not feel good about keeping that. So he would write something like, here's what you can do to keep this so that it's not traced, or like something.
Or just
I don't know.
don't call the police.
Yeah, don't call the police. I can't find like the actual letter he left, but reports say that a few things that were in it was that he said he had done something very wrong and did not want to stay and face the consequences. And then Pauline and Jack had also had a 13-year-old son named Michael. And one article I read said that the note also told Michael he needed to be the man of the house now and that he loved him, writing, quote, "I hope you will understand one day."
What? What? Nope.
No.
When you're a father and you leave your children
For millions of
$1 million, I hope then you see where I'm coming from, son. You're the man of the house now.
He did say he loved him. You can't tell though. So, so I could not find why. And speaking of DB Cooper, like the money that Jack stole, all of it was completely untraceable.
Yep.
No pre-recorded serial numbers and no
So
bait
awesome.
bills, which he knew. He definitely knew that. So it is impossible for the money spent, if he spent it, to ever be traced to him. Unlike the money DB Cooper stole, which was all traceable and it has never been traced because whatever happened to him. So that's a definite benefit for him.
You think? Well, that's like when I used to work in the restaurant industry, we would always check for counterfeit bills. And you probably encountered
Same.
this too. I remember one night we were working, and when we did the cash, we all had we had $150 in fake $5 bills.
Sometimes it's fives.
Yeah, because it's like, who's going to check that?
Yeah.
And you just
Nobody.
grab it. And
Yeah.
especially when you're busy, you're throwing drinks, you're
yeah.
bringing cash in.
Yep.
It's like, I don't know, not a victimless crime, but it's kind of cool.
Yeah.
I would make money if I could. Sorry.
Sorry. Here are some reasons why he may have done it, if they're not obvious enough. So some of this is in the episode and some is my research. I'm just going to kind of bounce back and forth. So the investigation, after they realized Jack was gone, determined that Jack had been suspected of stealing money from the company before, as money had gone missing several times under his watch. Mm-hmm. Jack's wife remembered that on one occasion, she had found a large wad of money hidden in their car.
Can we put this on
Yes,
Instagram, please?
we must.
It is so good.
Write that down, KB. We got to put this up. So in the reenactment, the actress playing Pauline pulls down the visor and money comes falling down into her lap.
rains.
And her expression is the best. She's just like, God damn it, Jack. Not all this wads of cash again.
I hate when this happens.
I hate when this happens. It's just like picking up all the loose bills. She's so exasperated by
I'm
money
always-
literally falling from the sky.
I'm always cleaning up after you. Always.
Oh, God. So this happened possibly on more than one occasion.
And he would just make up a weird excuse.
Yeah, so when she would find large amounts of money, Jack would often tell her that he had sold something. He was a big gun collector, so he'd say, "Oh, I just sold a gun or a car." Okay. And that's where the money had come from. The investigation also revealed that Jack and Pauline had been renting a 10-acre horse ranch and boarding horses there.
Criminal horses.
Horses. This was suspicious to friends and family because
Horses are suspicious. You're
they
right.
are, you cannot trust.
Cannot be trusted.
Because they all knew this apparently. He only made $35,000 a year, and they're like, how can he afford to rent this horse ranch? And Robert Stack said he liked to live the good life.
Yeah, that is imagine being friends with that guy. Come on.
Yeah.
Oh, you work for a money moving company and you've got a horse ranch on $35K a year.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh my God.
Yeah, I mean, it's just it's too
So
obvious.
obvious. Yes. Store that shit away.
Yeah. His wife, Pauline, believed the reason that he had left was because the government drove him to desperation.
Oh, God.
So apparently, in the mid-1980s, the IRS ordered Jack to pay more than $15,000 in back taxes, which is about more than $30,000 in back taxes in today's money. That's a lot of money. Mm-hmm. So she was thinking he was going to have to do jail time, and she thought he wanted to escape so that he wouldn't have to go to jail, or he couldn't get the money to them.
Oh, honey. No.
Investigators discount this theory because the IRS had been garnishing Jack Quinn's paycheck for at least 6 months and had already gotten several $1,000s from him that way. So he he shouldn't have had to face jail time since they were garnishing his wages. I don't know if Pauline didn't know that. I don't think they ever talked about money, clearly.
Yeah, no, I bet she did not know.
It's
So I don't
literally
think
in the
she
visor.
knew anything.
Yeah.
So in this episode, they also mentioned the possibility that Jack was having an affair. Several times in the month prior to his theft, he would leave for work at 5 a.m. but not actually arrive to work till 9:30.
Could you imagine having a breakfast affair?
That's what I said. It is
Yeah,
so
ew.
it's believed that he was meeting his mistress during this time, and which I am sorry, I don't care how much you like each other. 5 a.m. is way too early to do anything, especially have an affair.
Not sexy times.
It is,
It is
not sexy times.
If I were that mistress, I would be like, couldn't we move this affair to lunchtime?
Yeah, can we have an afternoon delight instead of a
Yeah.
wicked early morning?
Nobody wants an ass crack of dawn delight.
Oh, no.
Oh, that's a good episode title too. So it was suspected maybe that he ran away with his mistress. And that's kind of where the show ends. There are no updates in this segment. Okay, so these are my updates. Some of what I just said was not in the episode.
I have something before your update.
Okay.
I have in my notes that Mr. Robert Stack, when he was describing him, that he was stocky with a tendency
Yeah.
to put on weight.
Yeah, such a burn.
I know.
He's probably a lot fatter now than when he was in this picture. I don't know why that was my Robert Stack voice.
That is a terrible
That was not a Robert Stack voice.
No, that's an Officer Dirt voice.
Yes.
So John Anthony Quinn, or Jack Quinn, has never been found.
What? Oh no!
I will
Ridiculous.
read you
We are
his.
called Resolved Mysteries.
All right. Well, I do have some updates.
Okay.
I'll read you his FBI wanted poster.
Oh.
And I'll show the ladies this right now. This is his age progression photo, which we'll put up on Instagram. He would be 70.
What is with the neck?
He would be 79 right now. Also, he's in a wife beater in this age progression.
Also, that photo is fun. We should post that.
Oh,
too.
he looks, super fun.
He's got sunglasses.
With his
on. They're like
aviators.
wanted. A guy with sunglasses. You'll know him when you see him.
Yeah, so his aliases, and I'll get to one of these.
Oh, yes.
Are apparently Dale Calvin Clucky, or Cluky, James Sullivan, Dale Cluck,
Cluck you.
and then Jack Quinn, which I think is what most people
He's
call
like,
him.
how can I fly under the radar?
Cluck.
Like,
Cluck, cluck.
Stupidest name ever.
Which animal sound would be a good last name? Okay, so eyes, blue, weight, 225 pounds.
with a tendency to put more on, though.
Uh-huh. John Anthony Quinn is wanted for his alleged involvement in the theft of $1.3 million in cash from Federal Protection Service and Armored Car Service in Riviera Beach, Florida in April of 1988. Right after he went missing, the FBI says they issued another arrest warrant because he was escaping his first arrest warrant, whatever. So those are his charges on the FBI website. Yeah.
We're going to put another one on there.
We're mad. We could just post this whole poster or something.
We can post the poster.
Yeah. So
That's what you're supposed to
it's
do
one
with
of
those, I
it's
think.
the it's the that's true. That's what they're there for. It's the only case that I've had so far that had a was wanted by the FBI person. So Jack Quinn still at large even today. After the episode of Unsolved Mysteries aired, more than 200 tips were phoned in, all of which were checked out by the FBI, but none led anywhere substantial. So I found a few more details about his actual crime. Jack helped design the locking system for it, I read.
great.
That's amazing.
It seems like the person who did that probably shouldn't work there.
Talk about
So-
a long con. I love that.
So
A really long
well,
con.
listen. So
I love long cons. I love them.
Jack had set a timer that kept the safe locked until Monday morning. So he stole the money on Saturday and bought himself a little time before the door could be opened on Monday. And so no one knew, first of all, I don't think they knew any money was missing until Monday, obviously.
Right.
And then they definitely didn't know almost all of it was missing, if not all of it.
So cool.
So now Alison really likes him.
He's clever.
I mean, I don't like him. I just
People that knew him did say that he was clever.
I like his hustle.
Clever cluck.
I like his hustle.
What a
I feel
cluck.
bad for his wife and his son, but
Oh, wait. Just wait.
oh no.
So, as I mentioned before, the police. So, this was weird. The police checked every airline and every rental company, but no one saw Jack Quinn leave town. The FBI believed that he either walked away, that he literally walked,
yeah,
which they were like,
Carrying
yes,
44
millions
pounds of
of pounds of
money.
money. What?
Okay, so
or someone drove him, but no cab
His
companies
girlfriend,
could
his girlfriend.
identify him. They don't believe that he took a plane. So
maybe his girlfriend picked him up.
maybe. They don't think so. I still think it's possible he could have gotten on a flight. I don't know why the FBI is like, he didn't take a plane. Cause
They're like, we checked all the paper sign-in sheets and nobody signed in under that name.
Yeah.
So, 2 years after the fact, after this crime, Pauline was interviewed for a newspaper article and claimed, poor thing, that she regretted turning in the $107,000.
Honey, obviously you were going to regret that.
Quote, people say, you must have gotten a reward. I got nothing, absolutely nothing. Like, they didn't even give her any of the money for turning it in.
Dang.
Which, of course, they wouldn't give her a
wouldn't give
reward
it
at
to
that
her.
point because it wasn't claimed as lost money yet.
Right.
Like,
Well,
the only way
also-
they give a reward is if the company is like, we lost this money, we will give you a reward.
Yeah.
And she's the spouse. Like, she was probably a suspect until...
Oh, yeah.
They're like, we can't believe you weren't involved.
yeah.
Well, yeah. So Jack really made things difficult for Pauline and Michael, their son.
Sucks.
Obviously. And it sounds like their lives have not been easy, and they had no money right after he left. So they moved up to Maryland for a little while, just for a little water, because Florida, because Florida didn't have enough
They
water.
were so thirsty.
They were like, we're so poor. We just need a little water.
We can't afford water.
Don't cut that. That was it.
Keep it.
Okay. So she had a daughter from an earlier marriage and lived in Maryland with a little white. Oh my God.
Oh my God. I'm having so much fun because that first segment really upset me. And now
Yeah, this is good.
None of this is my problem. And it feels so good
Except that you have to edit it later.
I'd like a little water, if that's okay.
Okay.
Here, girl, take my poop bottle.
Anyway, she lived with her daughter up there for a while, okay?
Okay.
We didn't do this. We did it.
Don't put this on us.
Yeah, really, Eliza.
Okay, so then Pauline returned to Florida with her son Michael in May of 1990. She asked friends for money and a place to stay, and some helped her a little, and others just sent her away from them.
What? Those people aren't friends?
No.
Could you imagine if my husband took off and I was like, guys,
Can I help?
and
Can
you were
help
like,
me?
I'm sending you away.
Your
You
son.
cannot have any of my spare rooms.
So
All four of them.
she says, quote, every waking moment, all I think about is, where are you, Jack?
And how can I fucking find you and murder you and eviscerate you?
Quote, you wait for the mailman and nothing comes. You stay up till 3 a.m. Please get in touch with us, Jack. We need you. Do you know where we are? Why did you do it? Unquote.
Sad.
So, though, apparently, Jack did, in fact, see his wife and son not long after he disappeared.
What?
So when Pauline and Mike were in Ocean City, Maryland, they were living in a trailer, and Jack was apparently also living up there. One day, Pauline found a handwritten letter from her husband inside the trailer and $3,600 in cash.
Oh my God, I would slap
Oh
his
my.
That's it in her microwave oven. Poor Pauline regretfully told a neighbor about the money, and the next day it was stolen.
Oh my God, that's a Gone Girl.
But Pauline, I don't know. Pauline's a little fishy because then she's also admitted that she and her son met Jack at the National Zoo in Washington, D.C. after his disappearance, but never heard from him after July of 1989.
He's like, hey guys, long time no see. Do you want to like have a little zoo
zoo.
date? That would be cool.
Little family
We could have a
day.
picnic.
I want to say that Pauline is a bit of a sucker for Jack, maybe.
I thought you were going to say a bitch.
Me too.
Oh, no.
So
She's
Pauline,
not a bitch. She's
No.
just kind of dumb for Jack.
it's sad. Pauline says he was traveling with beards and wigs. And beards. I don't know if she means a beard wig or he had a beard. He also apparently was wearing contact lenses to make his eyes look brown instead of blue, and he had gained a lot of weight, like Robert Stack says.
Robert Stack knew.
He should have gotten really skinny to
Pauline-
throw everybody out,
Yes,
including Bobby Stack.
Nobody knew that. Pauline says the same aliases that the FBI had. James Sullivan and Dale Clucky are two of them.
I am assuming you don't get to pick your name when you go on the run. Like somebody, it's like the movie. Someone hands you your ID. You're like,
Right.
Oh my God, I'm Ramona Buttfuck.
Okay, I guess I'll accept it. Pauline also said he was driving a maroon Chrysler Imperial.
I would not know that car if I
No.
tripped and fell over.
Okay, I'm almost done. So,
Oh no, honey, this is good. It's nice
It's
to laugh.
fine.
And I'm so happy that the person is missing, but we don't fucking care. And that no
yeah,
children.
no one is hurt. I mean, Michael and Pauline, that's a bummer. It does suck.
But no
He
children were
totally
physically
ruined
harmed
them.
in the making of this segment.
Yeah.
And
Right.
I love that.
So in May of 1989, Jack Quinn. I said his last name, but his first name was Jack.
You can say
He was issued, I don't know how people know this, but he was issued a driver's license in Houston, Texas, under the name of Dale Calvin Clucky.
he's really
Okay.
holding on to Clucky.
The license photograph shows him with an uncharacteristic smile and a full salt and pepper beard. Ooh, handsome. But his birthday on this license that was issued said June 26, 1952. Hi, his birthday was in 1940. He's trying to get 12 years back.
Midlife crisis or like late life crisis.
Yeah.
Yeah, so there haven't been a lot of articles written about this case. Honestly, I had to dig
Nobody
for this.
fucking cares. The only person that writes
except
articles
Pauline.
is Pauline.
Yep.
And the Sun Sentinel, Florida newspaper, whatever that is. So,
It's just a
Shady, Eliza.
oh well, it was very like disparaging of, and I don't know what you would call it, like
fair and balanced.
not professional, really. So who knows how much of this is even reliable? Okay. You're welcome.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Okay, so the FBI believed, and in 1992, the last time like we have kind of an update from the FBI so long ago, they
FBI is
believed that she was still in touch with him, and she could be arrested for aiding and abetting. Some people believe that he was actually living with them. The FBI just believed like she was not telling them everything that she knew,
Oh, so then she should stop talking.
or start talking.
Well, it's like if you are still interacting with this person, stop telling everyone how you're not interacting with this person,
yeah.
and just keep your mouth shut.
It's very weird. I
You
don't
know?
get it. But if so, like the FBI would have been watching her to see if he came back, to see if she were harboring a fugitive. So, and they never have found him. So
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know if
Also-
she really was like aiding and abetting him. Or
We're gonna get into this in KB segment too, but like, I would never take my partner back if they took a fucking bunch of money and left me, latered on me, and then came back when they didn't have any fucking cash left. I would be like, okay, bye.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Are you
no,
fucking
we're not
serious?
doing this anymore.
No, I hate
Or
you.
he had cash, but he was only giving her $3,000.
Yeah.
No. So yeah, at this point, he's not been seen. He's still out there. If he is still alive, he'd be 79 years old. And I guess we wait for a deathbed confession, but that's kind of all it would
Doubtful. But, I mean, like,
be. Yeah, doubtful.
why bother?
Yeah.
Because
Oh, no, why
I bet
not
Pauline
bother?
will be there.
I would if this is the one deathbed confession I would give. Like, yep, I stole all that money and I've been out here the whole time.
That's
Bye.
totally-
Bye. I didn't kill anybody.
Yeah.
So that's it. You're welcome. We're tied to Unsolved Mysteries. Don't forget that. I didn't pick the segment. Bye.
Also, don't remember that segment.
And Eliza's back.
Well, I won't, because as soon as I walk out of this room, I forget everything that ever happened.
It's just like amnesia.
We have to beg her to participate. It's terrible.
She gets segment amnesia sometimes, and by sometimes I mean every time.
every time. Well, you did a medium job.
Oh,
Yeah, that was
thanks.
the
That's
most
good for
medium.
me.
Good
I mean,
job,
yeah, that
honey.
was high energy considering what you've done in the past. For
No,
White
I
Women
liked
Who
it.
Steal
That one
Things.
was fun.
Yeah. Good job, girl.
Thanks.
All right. Segment 3 is an unexplained death segment, and it takes place in Nashville, Indiana.
Oh.
I know.
Nashville, Indiana. I
didn't
put the
know
emphasis
there
on the
was
wrong
one.
word.
No, I thought it was Tennessee, but then they said it was a small town, and I was like, oh.
Yeah, no, Nashville, Indiana. Population 700. Robert Stack. I know.
Jesus.
Robert Stack describes the town as like a Norman Rockwell painting brought to life. So it sounds super quaint. It's described as a true community, so I think meaning people knew each other and helped each other.
I mean, 700 people.
Yeah, you got to know everybody. And we have Clarence and Geneva Roberts, which I believe were in their 50s at this time, a middle-aged couple who were well-liked citizens of the community. On November 18th, 1970, a fire broke out at the Roberts house. Clarence Roberts' body is discovered in the rubble. 10 years later, another fire happens. 2 bodies are discovered. One is Geneva, and the other is Clarence again.
Oh.
So Detective Sergeant Don Custer of the Indiana State Police says he talked to the detectives that investigated the second fire and, quote, from what they told me, I'd say it was definitely Clarence. Then we cut.
The first fire was definitely Clarence?
Well, right? You're confused. So am I.
Okay.
So then we cut to Bob White, which is Clarence's nephew, and he says that he thinks Clarence died in the first fire. Then they show his sister-in-law, which they never name.
She is a queen.
They just call her Mrs. Warren Roberts. So Mrs. Warren Roberts says she thinks Clarence is still alive, and she is one sassy beehive having bee.
Yes.
She is.
That bottle blonde honey.
She's got a bottle blonde beehive. And
my gosh.
her eyes are piercing. It's very clear that she does not like him.
And she is so deadpan. They just keep like editing over to her, and she's like, "He did it.
Yeah.
He did it."
Yeah. Clarence and his brother Carson had a prosperous hardware store together. So they did this business for 22 years, and his brother says he was friendly and always got along with people, and that he was a hard worker. Clarence and Geneva were married in 1941. Geneva kind of came from a poor family, but they both rose up in society being the perfect couple. They had 4 sons and a successful family business. Clarence was in the 33rd degree of the Masons, which I don't know what the degrees mean, but
How many degrees are there?
I don't know.
I think we don't like Masons.
Well,
Right.
They're just very patriarchal and secretive.
Ew.
yes.
So we
No,
don't.
we don't.
Yeah, my grandfather was.
Oops, sorry.
It's okay. I don't know that he wasn't doing shady shit. They show the Masonic ring that he had, and we'll post a picture saying that he wore it proudly, and there's a reason that they show this, obviously. As Clarence began making money and moving up in society, he really got an appetite for the good life. So he started just like buying luxury cars. He had ridiculously 3 cars and a, quote, fashionable home. So I'm sure it was like super fancy. Behind the facade of wealth, there were heavy debts. His sister-in-law says Clarence changed a lot. The difference was like turning the light off. Quote, that was Clarence who turned the light off. And I don't really know what that means.
Thank you for clarifying. I think she means like you could flip a switch and his personality would change. That's kind of what I
okay.
took.
Scary, but yeah.
Like
she
one
didn't
minute he
say
would
it.
be one person, the next minute like he would be like super scary.
She didn't
Okay.
say it clearly.
That
but
makes
yeah.
sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. She was just, she's fierce. So I'm not sure how the debt all started, but it was basically a giant downward spiral from there on out. Clarence ended up selling the hardware business and gambled with several investments. He decided to build an apartment building, and he owned some grain elevators. By fall of 1970, Clarence knew he was in serious trouble. His sister-in-law says he kept trying to be wealthy, but he was going broke and trying to pull out of it. So despite being in all this debt, he still was trying to like live this high life and like
I think
living,
that happens a lot.
yeah, living well outside of his means, obviously. October of 1970, Sheriff Warren Roberts, which, yes, is Clarence's brother,
Oh, right.
had to
Right.
repossess 2 of Clarence's vehicles.
Clarence was mad
So-
in the reenactment.
His brother and the husband of
Mrs. Warren.
Mrs. Warren Robert. She is his
Yes.
wife, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
she is his wife. God damn it. I have her name somewhere in here, but yes. And I think this is why she's so like, no, guys, there's this whole other side of him that you didn't know about because her husband was the sheriff and knew about everything.
And that reenactment of him repossessing the cars.
I know.
He's so mad. She's like, come on. You
Yeah.
have to.
I know. It's ridiculous. Especially in a small town. Like, how do you think you're getting away with this stuff? Bob White, Clarence's nephew, says he wasn't himself anymore. He was super depressed, and he thinks that he was suicidal. At 6:20 p.m., November 18th, 1970, the barn of the Roberts home went up in flames. The reenactment was like a real fire. Like, they
Yes.
put
how
something
did they do
on
that?
fire.
Like,
They
why?
probably bought a house in a town with 700 fucking
I think
people.
they did,
and
like
then they
even
set
the
it on fire.
even the trees were on fire. And I wrote bigger burn budget. So
nice. I love that.
in the rubble, they find a body burned beyond recognition and a half melted shotgun by its side. The body was so burned that they had a hard time even determining if it was human at first. Yeah. Jack Bond, the county coroner, thinks that Clarence had finally paid his debts, quote, by taking his own life.
Jeez.
That's not how you pay debts.
No, not at all.
That's how you fucking leave your wife with your debts.
Yeah, totally. They assumed he had shot himself because he was in major debt and he was found with the gun right by his side. But they look for shots in the body and don't find any, which, like, it's a shotgun, so it's not going to leave a tiny little hole. It's going to be, like,
big.
Obvious. The police wonder how a suicide could have happened without a gunshot wound, which I thought was weird because the body was burned up in a fire.
Well, they also said they didn't know if it was human, but they were like, "Oh, there's no shotgun." Like,
Yeah. It was weird. I don't know. I feel like there's some pieces missing here. So it's just interesting to me that they're like, oh, definitely suicide, when the whole entire house was burned down. Detective Don Custer is sifting through the debris of the fire and finds Clarence's ring that we talked about earlier. It was pretty much undamaged, which seems strange if the body was burned beyond recognition. Custer says that this is pretty much impossible. And I later read that the ring would have had a much lower melting point than, like, human bone would have burning point. So, plus the gun was melted. So why would the ring not be melted? Just doesn't make
and it
any
was just in
sense.
pristine condition. Like, there weren't even
was,
any,
like,
like
gleaming.
scorch marks.
Yeah. So Custer, of course, immediately thinks the ring was planted at the scene. Months before the fire, Clarence had purchased several insurance policies on his life, totaling almost $1 million. The body they found in the fire had type AB blood, and Clarence's military records showed that he had type B blood. And at this time, of course, DNA was not a thing. So if this wasn't Clarence, who was it? 2 days before the fire, Clarence was seen at a bar in nearby Morgantown, quote, befriending a vagrant. Witnesses say the man was 5'7" or 5'9" and roughly the same age as Clarence. Clarence was hanging out with him but didn't know his name. In the reenactment, Clarence is letting the guy know about odd jobs he needs done around his house. I don't know if that really happened or if that was just for the sake of the reenactment. As they're leaving the bar, the man collapses from some, quote, unknown cause. My first thought was like, oh my God, Clarence roofied this poor guy.
Yeah.
Clarence says he'll take the guy to the hospital and leaves with him. Oh my God, 70s. Please, please, if you ever see something like this happen, call 911. Do not let a random man take away someone who's passing out that nobody knows where he belongs.
They're like, he seems legit.
Oh my God.
You can deal with it.
They're like, you're right. You got this handled. Detective Custer says he checked all the hospitals in a 300-mile radius and the man was never checked into a hospital.
Yeah.
Nashville divides into two theories. One, Clarence committed suicide. Two, he killed the vagrant to collect the insurance money. Some people claim he watched from the woods as the flame destroyed the evidence of his crime. His nephew, Bob, still stands by the fact that he could see Clarence taking his own life, but not ever murdering someone. He says that would be beyond his wildest imagination. Mrs. Roberts, the sister-in-law, just shakes her head, stares into the camera, and says he definitely was capable.
I love her. She's the best.
She really is. She obviously did not like him. I think it may have been, like I mentioned earlier, because her husband was more privy to all the shitty stuff that was going on with Clarence, and nobody else really knew that stuff.
Yeah.
So Clarence's wife, Geneva Roberts, was left alone while Clarence was either dead or missing. She obviously was poor, and she moved to the outskirts of town. She tried to claim the insurance money several times, but was denied repeatedly. Geneva, of course, claimed that Clarence had died in the first fire. A pathologist named John Puss agreed with her. It wasn't until...
Oh, he's funny.
Puss is super funny. It wasn't until 1978 that attorneys asked Puss to review the reports, which, why the fuck was it 8 years later? I don't know.
No one cared.
I guess.
It was just this old woman who was trying to get money.
Puss says he was able to prove to himself and a lot of other people that the body in the garage was Clarence. Puss is smirking the whole time he's saying this.
He's a smirker.
And at first I was like, what the fuck? This is not funny. Like, you are so gross. But we find out later why he's smiling when he says this.
Because he felt silly.
He testifies at the civil trial against the insurance companies that he felt it was highly probable that it was Clarence Roberts. And it just made me, once again, like, DNA is such a game changer for all this stuff. Like, can you imagine an expert in any field today being like, I'm pretty sure that's what happened.
Oh, yeah.
Like, that's, it's so maddening.
Yeah.
Despite the testimony from Puss, Geneva lost all of the appeals. Puss says the people he was involved with in the trial were decimated by the judge's ruling. And that the ruling made no sense to him. Geneva began to withdraw from friends and neighbors and became the subject of local gossip. Geneva, who I think was supposed to be like 60 by this time, looks 80. Again, I don't know why. She looked super old. She had to take a job at a local restaurant in the kitchen. Some things I read said she was a dishwasher, so that's sad. The small town is just abuzz with rumors, and everyone's talking about Geneva. The local shopkeepers are talking, and they say that Geneva buys a lot of beer. They note this as strange because they knew she was diabetic and seldom drank beer. Neighbors also began to report seeing someone on the grounds of Geneva's home. Detective Dave Anderson of the Indiana State Police says they developed information that a man had been seen behind the house. They said the man acted strangely. He would never let anyone get close to him. If he saw someone approaching, he would immediately go back in the house.
It's like a stray dog, basically.
Yeah. It's just weird. And no one
weird.
ever was close enough to, like, see his face.
And who knows? Yeah, that sounds so much like rumor.
Yeah.
But who
Yeah.
knows?
The police set up surveillance for 3 days and began to photograph everyone in and around Geneva's house, but weirdly they don't see anything during their surveillance. They still, however, think that it was probably Clarence.
Okay.
Their theory is that he'd run out of places to go and he'd come back to staying with Geneva.
Poor Geneva.
I know.
Also,
Like
where
you
was
said,
Geneva when Clarence burned the first time? Like, what was her
Well,
story?
that was the barn, so she could have been in the house.
Oh.
Their house didn't burn down. They're just their
Oh,
barn
so they
burned
thought
down.
he killed himself by setting himself on fire in the barn?
Or shooting himself and then somehow the barn caught on fire.
Yeah, that's what I mean is weird about the suicide theory in the first place is because there was a giant fire also.
Right.
It wasn't just
Yeah.
a gun found by him.
It seems like something.
And clearly, like, the fire would be to disfigure the body enough to not know
the
who
fire
it was. But
seems like a cover up, but
yeah, it's just a weird...
it does suck if that was his intention. Like, I'm going to fake my death in this first one, and then they never get the insurance payout from it.
Yeah,
like
it's
like-
it was all for nothing, and
Yeah.
then he had to live in hiding, and Geneva's
Poor.
poor, and yeah.
So a local reporter named Helen Ayers became friendly with Geneva. Of course she did.
Yeah. She's like, oh, it was a total
Yeah.
it was kismet. It was
She's
totally
like, I'm going to get
fortuitous."
this scoop.
Yeah.
She says she'd been to Geneva's house 3 or 4 different times, but Geneva would always meet her on the back porch and never invite her in, which was like a weird thing to do in this little small town because normally people would be like, come on inside, you know.
That's weird. I always meet my neighbors on the porch.
I could
Oh, yeah.
never ever live there.
I wrote that down. I said I could not live
I
in
was
this
like,
town.
I'm not harboring anybody, and I still meet your ass on the porch. Goodbye.
I don't even answer the door.
Yeah. Helen interviews Clarence's sister, who lives in the adjacent yard, and the sister says she could hear Geneva talking to a man, but it was definitely not Clarence's voice. So I don't know why she's even bringing it up. It's very
Truly.
like what?
Geneva's got a boy.
So weird. Geneva went on living her reclusive life, and no one ever knew who the man was. November 18th, 1980, so like exactly 10 years later, we have another fire. The detective says when he heard Geneva's house was on fire and that she was most likely still inside, he went to the scene right away. The fire was still burning super intensely, so they had to wait for a while, but after the fire was done burning, Dave Anderson and his team stayed behind to look further into the incident. They find Geneva Roberts' body, and hours later, they find another body. As they're looking through the rubble, they find a second body in another area of the house. Detective Anderson says he's certain it was Clarence. The creepy pathologist from before, Puss, says he didn't even need comparison films. He knew the bony configuration of Clarence Roberts and that he knew him immediately by his chest x-ray.
He's like, I'd know that skeleton anywhere,
well,
honey.
he spent so long studying it the first time.
And getting it totally wrong.
Yeah, yeah. But so this is, and once again, he's like smirking so grossly and weirdly, but it's because he's like, I'm embarrassed.
Yeah.
The first time it wasn't
yeah, I
Clarence.
realized
This
that.
time it
He's
definitely
like,
was.
imagine my mortification when I had to explain to my friends and colleagues.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah,
Like, how
he
are
says
you
that.
supposed to trust him even?
Yeah, he says he'd have a difficult time telling his friends and neighbors of the world that Clarence was dead for the second time.
I think maybe he, like, it could have partially been like he wanted it to be Clarence because he felt bad for Geneva and he wanted her to get the money. Like, maybe he saw that she
Well,
was
and the
suffering.
methods they used just weren't that great.
You mean the first time?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
like maybe he could have, like he said, it did cause a lot of suffering in the family.
Right.
So like he probably saw this woman and was like,
Yeah.
yeah, it's him. I'm
Which
sure.
I hope
you know?
not. I think it's just because their methods were like
They just, like,
nothing that
guessed.
you could really prove.
Yeah, it
you
was
know?
just guesswork.
So Detective Anderson is super happy that they find out this is Clarence because
he
he's like,
seems
I knew it
very
all along.
happy. Yeah.
Yeah. and that the case would be
He
finally
took that a
coming.
bit personally, I thought. Like, he seemed very excited, and I was like, okay, calm down. You were
Yeah,
right.
like,
Well,
you just
because
found a guy dead.
yeah. So, like, also Geneva's dead. So
Yeah.
maybe take a minute.
Yeah, true.
Acknowledge the death of some
I
human
thought
beings.
he was-
And then, like, smile like a schoolgirl about it.
Yeah.
You know?
He was a
Totally.
bit joyful.
Yeah.
But he had been like 10 years of being like, you guys, that was not Clarence in the first fire.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
He's like high-fiving.
he said he was pleased with the info and that the case would be finally coming to an end, but little did he know it was just starting. They say that the second fire was an obvious case of arson. It appeared that someone had come in the back door and poured accelerant all around all the walls. There were clear burn patterns going all the way around Geneva's bed to the room that Clarence was found in and down the hallway and out the back door. So at this point, it's clear that Geneva has been murdered. They know that turpentine was used to start the fire, but they don't know who started it. Detective Anderson says that either Clarence did it or a third party did it, and he subscribes to the theory that it was a third party, which is weird because
If you don't
Anderson's
know-
been like anti-Clarence this whole time.
Also, like, if you don't know that Clarence is a lot, like, why would you kill Geneva? You know, like, if you don't, if the whole thing is that, like, Clarence is dead and it's just Geneva, then why would you go to her home and try to kill her? Like, that doesn't make any sense.
I know.
You
A lot of it still doesn't.
I guess I'm not looking for it to make sense. It's a UM segment, but it
Yeah.
just seems weird that, like, a third party would come in and set this elderly woman on fire. You know?
And people have a couple of theories about maybe why. So Anderson thinks there's no doubt in his mind that Clarence was the victim of the second fire.
Oh.
I don't know about that. Bob White says
Right.
he'd still like to know who the second body was because he still believes the first body was Clarence.
Oh, poor Bob White. He's like, my Uncle Clarence was such a nice guy.
Yeah.
Like,
he
okay.
even says that he knows the pathologist said the second body was Clarence, but he doesn't believe it.
He's like, you know what? Against all scientific evidence, I'm still going to believe what I want to believe.
I'm just going to believe my gut feeling.
Good thing that never happens these days.
I know. Plus is still convinced the second body was Clarence. He says it's not only a reasonable medical certainty, but he says he believes it's beyond a shadow of a doubt.
Wow.
Oh my God, DNA testing, where are you when we need you?
Seriously. It's sort of been wrapped up so long
Yes.
ago.
Oh my God. Stack says that some of the Roberts family members are still doubtful that Clarence is dead and protested the gravestone being put on the body. Stack says whoever rests beneath this Midwestern earth will never tell his tale.
That's so
Such a weird
folksy.
line. Yeah.
But
Very
why
folksy.
would Clarence fake his own death again? He's not going to get an insurance payout.
Right.
Oh my God. It's
Like-
just like his thing. Like some
Just
people's
fun
scrapbook.
for him, and
Clarence
now
just-
Geneva's dead and he has nowhere to go now. It's just doesn't
Yeah.
make sense.
No.
It's super weird. Research time.
Yay.
The original air date of this segment is December 14th, 1988. I don't know. I just like putting that in there.
Yeah.
The judge shown in the segment was the actual Brown County magistrate who
Oh.
judged the lawsuit between the insurance company and Geneva. So that's
Bold-
interesting.
yeah.
Bold moves.
That the judge was
okay.
like, yes, I'll be on Unsolved Mysteries and reenact myself.
He's like, I stand by my decision.
Yeah. Clarence was involved in more financial trouble and fraud than they mentioned on UM. It's boring, so I'm not going to tell you about it, but he was in multiple fraud situations. $1.2 million would have gone to Geneva if the life insurance policies went through. And Clarence was alleged as saying, my widow will be the richest one in Brown County.
I really thought you were saying little, like my widow wife.
My widow wife will be the richest one in Brown County. He had a weird speech impediment. I didn't want to mention it earlier.
It's like a
but,
cartoon character.
Yeah,
It's like
so
Elmer
like
Fudd. It was Elmer Fudd, okay?
that's who it
Fudd
was this
did
whole
it.
time. So yeah, debt collectors had been hunting him down. It was really bad. There's some weird things to note that I think make it pretty obvious that the body in the first fire was definitely not Clarence. Some of these are going to be things that were touched on in the episode. The first body had no arms or legs, and it was presumed that they had burned off. But stay tuned on this.
Not how that works.
Okay, I will definitely stay tuned.
We can't go anywhere. We're stuck here.
Yeah, you're stuck with me. A molar was found in the rubble near the first body, but in Clarence's dental records, he'd had that particular molar removed. The body found had one kidney, and Clarence had no medical record of ever having a kidney removed.
Oh my
Burned.
God.
How do they know that, though?
I thought it was so burned they didn't know if it was human. How do you find kidneys?
I don't know.
The torso was more intact than...
Oh,
Yeah.
that's why they didn't know if it was human, because it didn't have arms.
It didn't have arms and legs, exactly. The blood types didn't match, as we knew this entire time. So why are we even talking about this?
Well, how is this even a mystery?
No heat or fire damage on the ring, yet all his limbs had burned to ash. No evidence
Like,
of...
presumably his ring finger, where the ring would have been, maybe?
And all his fingers that have prints on them. No evidence of Clarence's wedding ring was in the rubble. So
Oh, so he was a romantic.
why was
It's
the...
like
to heaven?
No, I'm saying when he ran.
Right, straight up to Jesus.
Some reports say the vagrant man had been kicked out of a bar before he was seen with Clarence, which would mean he was super drunk. But some reports also say he was having a seizure. So
Jesus
I
Christ.
don't really know what was going on with this guy. I don't really think Clarence poisoned him, though. So I'm not sure.
So you think
He may
Clarence
have
just, like,
just
got him
jumped on an
wasted?
opportunity.
That's fucking insane.
Yeah.
To be like, oh, I could use this totally wasted vagrant to.
Oh, God. It's
Oh, this
horrible.
is great. This worked out really well for
Just
me. I just
landed
came
in my lap.
Yeah, I just came for a Miller Light, but now
Yeah,
I've
because
got this
people
really
were
drunk
like-
vagrant.
He wouldn't just be carrying roofies around with him. Like,
That's true.
I don't know. The only remnant of clothing on the body from Fire 1 was a brown plaid shirt. An hour before the fire, witnesses remember Clarence wearing a blue shirt, and witnesses remember the vagrant wearing a brown plaid shirt.
Jesus Christ, Clarence, get your shit together.
Yeah. Some witnesses say they saw Clarence eating at a restaurant in Mexico in years after this. The tavern owner claimed to see him with a woman in his establishment. The county refused to return Clarence's body to the grave that was like his... You know how people do that? Like, this is my
They buy
grave.
a plot.
In 1977, she petitioned to declare Clarence dead, but they refused and had a civil trial. The trial judge rules that there's insufficient evidence that Clarence is actually dead. Puss had originally said that he didn't think the fire could have burnt off the arms and legs, but he thought there were blade marks indicating that the body had been dismembered beforehand.
Oh, so Plus
okay.
is like, it's definitely Clarence, but real quick though, before he died in that fire, he cut off his arms and his
That's what
legs.
I was confused about.
And
Like,
I
when did
didn't
he
tell
come
you
out with that
beforehand.
part? Yeah.
Yeah.
So
like,
maybe you're right. Like, he was like, this,
I think he was.
I'm sad for Geneva.
I think he felt that for Geneva.
Which is
So-
kind of nice.
But I would
but
like to think
also-
that over than he is so inept that he couldn't put these pieces together.
Well, yeah.
But
I mean,
boy,
he is a
we've-
doctor.
We have seen some inept medical
Oh,
examiner.
maybe he
and
trained
inept
under
pathologist.
Fami.
It's the
Maybe he
Fami
worked with Fami.
Fami Malik School of
Shittiness.
So obviously the reason to remove the arms and legs would be that things like fingerprints and other identifying features. This also proves that it was definitely not a suicide because Clarence would have had to dismember himself before killing himself.
That's one
That's the best way to do it, though.
One witness said that in 1970, Clarence had shown him a card for a Swiss bank account that had more than $100,000 in it. Okay, so reasons to believe the man in the second fire was Clarence.
Because it was Clarence.
Geneva lost everything and was forced into poverty. She became a recluse. There were sightings of a weird man on her property. She only met people on her porch. She always had her shades drawn. She had an attack dog. She was buying a lot of beer. The timing of the fire was only 1.5 months after Geneva's appeal was denied. Geneva knew there was no hope for ever getting the money.
Poor Geneva, man.
I know. And a mailman delivered a letter to Geneva ordering her to appear in court to deal with the lawsuits from Clarence's creditors.
Oh my God. You know, each one of
my
these
God, no.
each one of these segments so far is just a fucking white guy fucking over
Yeah, fucking over other people.
their spouse or their girlfriend.
Yeah, their own people.
And now
Their
she's
own
like,
people.
okay, this was your stupid plan. I have to literally live with it for another 10 years, buy you beer. We have no money now.
Yeah, I'm sweeping
and live with the stress of like hiding you and like
Yeah.
And still having to answer to his dead people.
Yeah. No wonder she was like
it's
fucking
horrible. And
shut
I'm really
it
curious
down.
what was going on with their kids because they had 4 sons.
They had kids? I was going to say they must have
really?
been
They
they
had
must have
4
been without
sons.
children because wouldn't a child take their mother in?
Well, and yes, I had that same thought. And I'll talk about the children at the end a little bit, but there was really nothing about them. And I
none
don't
of the
know why
children
they
ever
weren't
came
taking
to
care of her.
visit and saw any evidence that their father might still be alive.
Unless she like cut ties with them or something because she was hiding
Because
him.
of that, which would be so heartbreaking.
That's
It's
horrible.
so sad.
Wow. That's fucked up.
Weird things about the crime scene in fire number 2. The cause of death for both Geneva and Clarence was determined smoke inhalation. Clarence's body had 2 broken ribs, which there could be a lot of reasons for. And I do want to credit a lot of my information to The Trail Went Cold, episode 36.
He's great, isn't he?
He is great. And he does it really concisely, too.
Yeah, he does. He does not do what we do. He just gets in there and he gets out. It's just the facts. He's the dragnet of what we do.
I haven't listened to any.
Yeah,
So-
you'll come across something where it's like beneficial.
It will keep coming up in your cases because his are all unsolved things.
Yeah, yeah.
We should try and talk to him.
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
really great. He's
Shout out, Robin.
Yeah, his
So-
name's Robin, and I think he's friends with the woman who does the Canadian True Crime
cool.
podcast. They're both in Canada.
Okay, so something else that I forgot from the first fire was that 30 holes were found in the exhaust system of the car that was in the garage, and the body found had died of carbon monoxide poisoning.
That's what they think he did to the...
So the theory is that Clarence may have put the vagrant man in the cab of the car while he was passed out, sabotaged the exhaust system, and then started the truck until the man died of carbon monoxide poisoning.
Gosh.
Man, I
What a
mean, talk
monster,
about
if
kicking a
that's-
man when he's low. Jesus.
That's awful.
The police surveilled for 3 days but saw nothing. I got a lot of my information from The Trail Went Cold, episode 36, and the host, Robin Warder, says he thinks it's weird that they didn't have a search warrant or have entered the house somehow.
Oh,
With
yeah.
like everything they had. How could they not
Wouldn't they have just been like,
have gotten
hey,
in the house?
we
Yeah,
heard
why
there's a
did-
guy on your property. We're going to
Yeah.
go look for him.
Why did they have to?
They had
sit in the
so many
bushes?
reasons to believe
Yeah.
that. So, and then Clarence's sister Dolly had heard the male voice talking to Geneva, but never saw him and said it was not Clarence's voice. But hello, it's Clarence's sister. She wants very badly to believe that Clarence was the body in the first fire. Reasons that Clarence was stupid. If trying to make it appear a suicide by putting the gun next to the body, why didn't he think to put a bullet through the body? They think that the reason for cutting off the limbs was to eliminate the possibility of fingerprints, but it made it more suspicious.
Yeah.
And then planning the ring was stupid because the ring had no damage to it.
And then where are the limbs now?
Yeah.
I mean, where were they?
Good question.
He had
Is
to
it a
dispose
VH1
of them.
show? Where are the limbs now? Limbs, where are they now?
Yeah.
Best limbs ever.
That's a good question because they're implying that the rest of it
I
didn't
love
burn
the
up.
90s. Limbs.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's like, yeah, because I forgot about the limbs thing, and so when you
The
were
limbs
like,
thing is ridiculous.
why didn't he shoot the body? I was like, maybe he was squeamish, but then he literally probably
chopped
could
off
have
the arms and the
dismembered
legs.
someone.
Yeah.
So yeah, why wouldn't he shoot it just to?
Because he's just so dumb. And he clearly doesn't know anything about like melting points or burning points because he was like, I'm going to drop the ring right here. You know,
He was probably like,
Also, to avoid like fingerprints, this is so gross, but it's even grosser to cut limbs off. Like, couldn't you just cut off the skin of the fingers after
Yes.
they're dead?
or you could do
not
a lot of things. You could
Get
like,
a bones? Like he had to saw through bone.
yeah.
there's a lot of ways to destroy fingerprints without removing the arms and the legs of a human.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know if I guess that's what happened, but it just seems crazy that he would do that.
I know. But, and again, the investigation of that crime scene was
Not
limited
great,
in multiple
yeah.
ways too, so I don't know.
Well, clearly, because when was the ring? The ring was found
That day.
Yeah,
Was
like
it
right
found
away.
right away?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so what really happened? Was it a murder-suicide pact? If so, why fire?
Yeah, that's a really rough way to go.
Like, were they so worried about their reputations even after death that they didn't?
No, because Geneva knew that those bitches were talking about her in town.
So sorry,
Or
you
did they just
said-
not want their children to think they killed themselves for some weird...
You said
religious
they
reason.
both died of smoke inhalation in the second fire, right? That was the cause of death for
Yes.
both bodies. Okay. I mean, that would be so sad. But also, their life sucks. Like, Geneva's life totally sucks.
Totally.
You know, but
because of
laying
him.
there-
That's why I was like, I can understand a suicide pact, but why go by
Why
fire?
Right.
Like
Especially
laying
'cause-
in your bed as your fucking house is like.
Yeah, no. That's
How- I
like the
feel
most
it's
tortured
when
way to
you-
go.
Well, I feel like it's like when you drown. Wouldn't your body naturally try to fight? Mm-hmm. Like when people who,
Yeah.
you know, like
Yeah,
when
I
you
mean,
try
it
to
would get
drown
too
yourself
hot.
by suicide,
Yeah.
your body naturally fights. Like wouldn't
Yeah,
something
I don't
take
know.
over in your lizard brain and you would just get the fuck out of
Yeah,
there?
I don't
Well,
Unless she was like dosed, like unless she took
so
something.
a 1983 grand jury studied the fire. Both Geneva and Clarence had a super high blood alcohol content.
There you go. All right. I'll stop talking.
And they said that Geneva probably would have gone into a diabetic coma due to the alcohol consumption.
Oh,
Gosh, that's so sad.
that is so brutal.
Clarence's body was found in a room that had solvents and other flammable liquids in it. Since he had no noticeable wounds, it could have been, except the ribs, it could have been alcohol or fumes from the solvents.
It's probably both.
Yeah.
But he's not diabetic, so he's not going to go into a coma. He's just going to be shit-faced.
I mean, who knows what happened? Like, maybe it wasn't a pact. Maybe
Yeah.
she did. Maybe they just got really drunk one night and she did go into a coma and he's like, all right, here's my chance. I'm just going to burn it down or something like that. And maybe he has a sick sense of humor. Like, you thought I burned once. We have
know.
nothing now from it. LOL, here's my real body.
Yeah, he
Damn,
definitely had
that's
some
dark,
weird fascination
Eliza.
with fire.
I just don't want to believe that I don't know. It's just so...
It's heartbreaking to think that she was
Yeah.
so unhappy that she would choose to
I
die
know.
that
I
way.
don't.
And
think
if this
that she
guy's
did.
capable of cutting someone's, like killing a man he doesn't know, cutting off his limbs, like
That's some
I
deep
could
shit.
see him being
Yeah.
capable of
doing anything.
that. Yeah.
People on the message boards keep asking if the children of Clarence and Geneva ever got life insurance money. But no, they couldn't have. That would have meant that they would have to admit that the body in the first fire was not Clarence, which would mean admitting that he's a murderer.
Oh shit!
Oh,
I'd be
my
like, my dad's a fucking murderer.
So this
Give
is
me
why
my
the
money,
nephew,
please. Goodbye.
yeah, this is why the nephew Bob White is like, absolutely not. That was his body. I don't care what anybody says, because
Wow.
if they say it was him, they're saying he killed somebody.
Oh my god.
Oh
would.
my God. This
Wow.
is crazy.
Yeah, there's a lot of loyalty for someone who literally had no loyalty
And a
to
lot of
anybody
money
else.
they could have had, but they were too prideful.
Ah, man, don't be too prideful for that cash, honey.
So that also meant that the family refused to collect the second body because they would not admit that it was Clarence,
God.
even though it was totally his body.
This is crazy.
It's sad.
This is like psychological
It's really
warfare, but
sad.
just against themselves.
Yeah.
Yeah. So authorities are certain that the second body found belonged to Clarence. X-rays and dental records from Clarence matched the body. In regards to the 1980 fire, a grand jury determined that Geneva was murdered and that Clarence died accidentally while setting the fire. They believe that he passed out from alcohol consumption or from the fire's fumes.
Oh, that's universal justice
So yeah,
for ya.
basically what you said, like,
So he would have killed her and
I think
walked
he
away?
took his moment, to be like, I'm going to end her miserable life.
Yeah. That I caused.
That
but
I
I'm
caused,
sick.
but I'm also not going to kill myself.
Ew, I don't
I'm going to have a. I'm going to have
And there
a
was no
third
money
act.
to be had for it this time, obviously, because
Yeah.
he's supposed to be dead. So
That's
it was
some like
just-
Twilight Zone justice then.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah.
The universe took care of his
crazy.
ass. Goodbye.
Wow.
Authorities are also certain that he was responsible for the murder of the first victim. However, the victim's identity remains a mystery. So, who was the body? It had to have been the vagrant, but the body was never identified. If the man was a vagrant, he may not have had family or friends, and he's not listed as a John Doe.
Shit.
So, the vagrant is the true victim of this story.
Yes,
yes.
the
Geneva
unnamed
also, but
person.
really, this guy. Authorities looked into the possibility that the first victim was a 38-year-old drifter from Kentucky named James Woodrow Hatcher, who vanished in 1968. However, X-rays of James's body determined he was not the murder victim. Robin, the host of The Trail Went Cold, commented on Reddit and said, I guess it's certainly possible to collect DNA from the unidentified vagrant, but given that he died nearly 46 years ago, who knows where they could possibly start trying to track down possible relatives. I also have concern that since he was buried in a pauper's grave and his John Doe marker was stolen many years ago, it might be difficult to even find his body today.
Someone still. So wait, who is in Clarence's grave? If it isn't the vagrant and it isn't the second body, which is probably Clarence, who's in his grave?
In
Clarence's grave. You just said that the vagrant was buried in a pauper's grave. The family wouldn't take the second body because they refused to admit it's Clarence. Who the fuck is in Clarence's grave?
Hold on, I have this at the end.
Okay.
This is a theory by some of the people in the family. The man on the property wasn't Clarence, but he was Geneva's secret boyfriend.
Oh, yeah.
Get it, honey.
You saw her in that reenactment. You know she's got secret boyfriends everywhere with those knee-high stockings and that
her
house
nightgown.
coat and that broom she carried around.
Oh, I lived for those days.
I know the broom.
Honey,
Little house coat.
you know she's got so... You can't wait to get there.
Yeah, people in the town thought she maybe had a secret boyfriend. So some people think the theory would be that the secret boyfriend killed them when he found out Clarence was back. Also, there's the woman that people reported seeing Clarence with after he died. Some people think that was his mistress, and maybe she was the murderer. I don't think so.
10 years later, I don't
It's
think
Occam's razor. Like, it's the most obvious answer.
Yeah.
Like, there you go.
Geneva's family took her body and buried it, but refused the other body, not only because they didn't think it was Clarence, but because they thought it was her secret boyfriend. Oh my God.
But
this
either
family.
way, even if they thought it was Clarence, he's responsible for her horrible life. So why would they take his body?
I know.
It's Geneva's family.
Poor Geneva. That woman, man.
So Brown County put the second body under a headstone for Clarence Roberts. The body from the first fire is in an unmarked grave. Family thinks this should be reversed, but obviously no, it should not.
Wait.
Wow.
But
the collective, like, what is that? Or like the whole family.
Groupthink?
Yeah, the group think where like the whole family's just like,
but the original grave he was buried in, it said Clarence.
yeah.
It did initially.
Yeah.
It didn't after.
So the government decided to put the second body where Clarence's headstone is. The first body is in a vagrant's thing where the headstone is missing, and the family thinks that it should be swapped. That the second body should be in the pauper's grave and the first body should be in Clarence's grave.
yeah, which clearly is not the
God,
case.
I am fucking tired.
I know. So that's the end.
Oh, that's it? I didn't mean to end it that way. I'm not tired. This is great. Let's keep going.
Just said it.
No, that really is the end.
Well, sorry, Geneva.
But yeah, so I really think that it was like he was trying to murder Geneva just to end her sad life.
I'm
and
sure it was
died
that
on
vanilla
accident.
then. Yeah. Also, you said that he had a broken rib. Like, that makes sense. He's doing all this shit, and he's wasted, and he gets stuck in this room, and then he falls down, and he fucking breaks his rib.
Yeah, that's what
like,
the commenters think. They're like, he could have fallen down doing any of this weird stuff.
it doesn't
that he
take
was
a lot
doing.
to break a rib. So
Yeah.
Wow. Well, I guess that's a solved mystery as far as I'm fucking concerned.
I agree.
We solved it.
We solved it.
It was
yeah.
us.
It was us
It
and
was
Reddit
Karlin.
and Robin from the Trail and Call.
Yeah.
It's always Robin
Thanks,
first.
Robin.
Thanks, Robin. You're the best.
Oh, that was really interesting.
That
Yeah.
was a pretty crazy
And sad.
story.
Good job.
And fucking convoluted. Good job, Katie.
Thanks.
All right. Are we recording?
Yep.
Okay. So, segment 4 of episode 11 is Fumbles the Bank Robber, Ross James Preston. This is a wanted segment. So, I'm going to be honest, coming off of Jenny Pratt and Curtis Croft, I don't fucking care about this. So,
No one does.
yeah. So, we're just going to give a little wrap-a-roo, okay?
As long as my notes.
Yeah, just like me. Okay. Since July 12th, 1984, a robber wearing gloves and a ball cap has held up over 30 banks in the state of Florida. Most are small banks. We're going to play the reenactment because if you follow along with us, you know what we're talking about. It is the silliest shit ever. It is Fumbles. Got his nickname because he has a tendency to fall down and drop things. He's a true criminal mastermind. And it does speak to the Florida Police Department and the Florida FBI that he managed to rob 30 banks before
Jeez.
I honestly was pretty astounded by that.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think it speaks to fumbles. I think it speaks to the lack of skill in the Florida FBI. No offense, Florida FBI. This was a while ago. I'm sure most of you are retired, but really, come on.
But like he's literally dropping things and falling down.
Also,
Just
like,
get him.
Whoops.
yeah. So my update is like pretty short, but it just includes their investigation, which was less than stellar. A stack tells us that in the second robbery, Fumbles, so in the first robbery, he fell. That we're going to show that video. And then in the second robbery, he had a hard time keeping his mask on his face. And then in another robbery, he dropped money. He's clearly like just a criminal. He's like Kaiser fucking Soze, you know, like just a criminal mastermind. He managed to rob 30 banks, not get caught. I'm skipping a bunch of shit because I just want to wrap this up. Okay. So when the segment ends, Fumbles, they don't know who he is. He must be really smart. And he must be a master of disguise, like Moriarty and Sherlock Holmes. I mean, just imagine the intellect of this man who is a little clumsy, but managed to outwit the federal, the government in Florida for so long. So the show update tells us that Fumbles was captured. And after the show, as soon as the segment aired, someone from Clearwater, Florida called, and he had recognized Fumbles the Bank Robber as Ross James Preston, a 23-year-old student. On May 24th, 1989, Preston was arrested while test driving a pickup truck. Okay. In his car, they found his outfit, his hat, his gloves, the suit, everything.
Sunglasses.
The sunglasses, all of his accoutrement, all of his master of disguise accoutrement.
His Fumbles character was there.
Yes, exactly. He managed to elude Florida police and committed, at the end of the day, 33 armed bank robberies. He was given a plea bargain for some reason and was only sentenced to 7.
Yeah, what?
Yeah, so at first I was like, I'm going to deep dive into this. And then I just recently learned that if someone's convicted of 50 crimes, unless it's like to show, like unless it's like a serial killer or a child predator or something like that, they're just going to be like, okay, this is enough to get you where you need to be. He admitted to 33 crimes, and I think because he admitted to them, they're like, we're just going to give you 25. Like, that's the deal we're putting on the table.
Okay.
Because we'll get to, like, he never hurt anybody.
Right.
You know, like the gun he was
shot the
using
gun.
was actually fake.
Oh,
It wasn't a real gun.
Are you
Fumbles.
serious?
He's a bit of a little like special snowflake baby boy. Yeah, a little bit. So
I
mean,
guess I would rather it not be a real gun,
yeah.
but good
So
God.
like
when you're so clumsy, I think a real gun is a little.
maybe he knew his weaknesses
I
and
think
he had a
so.
tendency to drop things.
He's like, I better get a rubber gun.
Yeah. They were just like, go to jail for a little while. He served 13 years in prison and has since been released. He was released in 2002. This case is super straightforward. It's very silly, but it's also really sad because this person, Ross James Preston, was clearly in a really shitty place. The only reason why you would walk into a strip mall bank and go to one teller and just ask for her cash box is because you're fucking desperate.
Yeah.
Like, you're not going into the vault, you're not holding a gun and shooting it in the air and taking the whole bank.
No.
You're just going to one woman who probably has about $3,000 in her cash box, and you're not getting a ton of money.
desperate or a drug addict.
Desperate or a drug
I'm
addict.
not saying he is, but
Yeah.
I do have a person from high school who did that just for drugs.
Yeah, of course. Well, exactly. So, like, it just smacks of desperation, whether your desperation comes from a drug addiction or debt or, like, this is, it was basically his part-time job, essentially, at the end of the day.
Yep.
This is pretty funny. So, he did manage to outwit the police, and part of that was because it was 1984, and there was no cross-jurisdiction communication.
Right.
There was no DNA. They couldn't swab something and be like, oh, this matches this one, matches this one. So
Yeah.
at some point, they didn't even really know if they had just him or if they had a copycat, if they had a lot of people doing it. So they put together a profile, quote unquote, and they thought that he was a professional man in his mid to late 30s, so respected that he went undetected by those who knew him, or a harmless Barney Fife sort of person.
Oh, we keep having
I know.
3 different episodes we've referenced Andy Griffith's show.
Oh, shit. That's so funny because I've never seen an Andy Griffith episode.
Oh my gosh, I love it.
Because I was like, I knew exactly who you meant when you said.
I mean, I just like would watch the intro on Nick at Night and then change the channel.
Oh, do you remember Floyd the Barber? And then he had a stroke, and they still had him. They still kept him as the actor, but he had a stroke. Oh, so nice.
No, I don't remember that.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay. So a harmless Barney Fife sort of person who successfully bumbled his way through his crimes, or a man who lived outside Florida and slipped into this state only to rob banks. Preston fit none of those descriptions. He was a 29-year-old at the time of his capture, a 29-year-old part-time junior college student who lived in an unassuming rented house in a sleepy neighborhood off of Roosevelt Boulevard. Neighbors describe him as friendly, clean-cut, and athletic. Yes.
Great. No propensity to put on weight.
Yeah. Got it. The detectives or the police officers who finally realized that it was this guy, first of all, they were able to do it because of Unsolved Mysteries. Second of all, they spend a lot of time patting themselves on the back. One of the quotes is, "I'm glad we were intelligent enough not to slough that tip off." So they had no tips coming in. And then Unsolved Mysteries did it, and they got some tips. Detective Roy Luchin is so proud of himself and his team for following up on the tips that came in from the segment on UM that they asked UM to air. He's like, pat on your back.
We did such a great job.
Mm-hmm. He's like, I'm so
Doing
glad.
our job.
Yeah, I'm so glad we didn't ignore those tips that we asked for.
Did you
Yeah.
add fumbles to our list?
Ooh.
So they took the name provided by a tipster who remained anonymous. They ran a computer check and turned up a 1984 arrest for passing bad checks. And they compared the 1984 fingerprints with those found at one of the banks. So they found fingerprints on the check, the bad checkbook. Yeah. And
That's
then they.
some good police work.
Yeah. I mean, I guess. I think it's called doing your job, but okay. We'll give them that. And they were very proud of themselves. So I think that's something that didn't happen every day.
Apparently not.
Mackenzie, who was another officer, said, "This man had a great potential to kill somebody. The potential we saw was one of grave danger."
With his fake gun?
Detectives also found the gun apparently used in the robberies. Authorities had thought Fumbles was using a .45 caliber semi-automatic handgun, but it was a pellet gun. Oh. And he had no tendencies to hurt anybody because he was in 33 banks and he never hurt anyone except his knees because he kept falling down.
Except himself.
The only person he hurt was himself.
Poor bud.
Oh. Okay, so basically the reason why Preston robbed people was because he could not stop spending money. Court records suggest that Preston had money problems dating to the earliest months that police say Fumbles began robbing banks. He was going to be evicted. He robbed a bank apparently, gave the landlord the money, wasn't evicted, and then learned a valuable lesson. Just rob banks. I think he could have just gotten a part-time job, but he's special. His mom told him he was special, so he doesn't have to have a part-time job.
He believed he could do anything.
This is how special he is. Preston attended St. Petersburg Junior College for the last 7 years.
Oh.
Which is an officer definitely throwing shade.
Oh my. Like I was in college for an embarrassingly long time, but
it 7 years?
I wasn't in community college.
7-year community college stint. That is only acceptable if you're like a single mother.
Yes.
If you have some sort of like mental
You're
health
taking like
issues.
2 credits a semester or
If something
something.
devastating happens to you. But if you're just like your average white boy, 7 years is a bit long.
Yeah.
A
He
bit
was
long.
a little busy, you guys.
He was busy.
7 years for maybe an associate's.
Well, and he was getting evicted, but then his neighbors were like, then he bought a boat. It's like, you guys, you didn't. He was just getting evicted, and then he showed up with a boat, and somebody's robbing 30 banks, like in Florida. You don't. Okay.
They're like, he dropped his mail all the time.
yes.
He could not hold on to
They're
it.
like, we called him Fumbles, and it was so weird.
So weird when the newspaper called him
They're
that
like,
too.
we called him Clumsy. Now I get it. Now I see the connection. Ay, ay, ay. Here's another sad thing. That's why this is like a little pathetic, and I'm sorry, Ross James Preston, but come on, man.
Well, he's got to know now.
I know, right? And so he had taken $50,000 over the years. And I think it was like, he took 50 grand from 33 banks.
That was his total loot amount.
So you're
Which
right. It was each time it was like one girl's drawer.
Uh-huh. So in today's money, that's $114,000. That's nothing.
For 33
banks. He should have just gotten a part-time job.
Truly.
His take
Yeah,
home
it
would have been
literally
more.
was more effort than it was worth.
Like the definition of, I think, yes, for the first time in UM, it's like, was it worth it though? Was it? I mean, I'm not even really good at math, and I know that you should probably just go work at McDonald's or something for a minute. So, the whole time they're like, who is this genius that keeps escaping these police officers? This is how. Fumbles has managed to elude authorities because he changed his outfits from casual to businesslike and back again in the course of his criminal career. He's like, now I have a hat. Now I got a suit. Now I have a hat. Now I got a suit. Are you guys fucking confused? Whoa, I'm Fumbles. Like, are you serious? Really? Really?
It's literally them saying he changed his clothes.
He changed.
every day.
He was
a criminal mastermind.
He was in a hoodie. Next day, he's in a suit. My mind fucking blown. This is where it gets a little sad and we feel sort of bad for Fumbles.
Oh boy.
So he was arrested, and the first thing he did was he asked the police officers to shoot him. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yes.
No.
Honey,
Yeah.
you didn't steal that much money.
And
It's
he
not.
said he had contemplated pointing his BB gun at the officers so that they would kill him. Suicide by cop before that was a thing.
No.
Well, not before that was a thing. Before it was, yeah. So he was going to point his BB gun at them and have them shoot him. And then while they were driving in the car to the police station, he asked if the agents would let him just jump. Like if the agents would pull the car over and he could just jump off of the building.
Oh my gosh, no.
So Ross James Preston was in a lot of debt and he was suicidal.
It's not even about the money.
Yeah, there's so many moving parts here, and then you get caught and you would rather die than face any kind of consequences.
Oh my God.
It's nuts. Yeah.
That's really sad.
Yeah.
Oh boy, now I feel bad.
Yeah. Well, I mean, don't feel too bad because, I don't know. I didn't really get into his background. I don't care. I mean, this was a long episode for me. So I didn't do that.
It's fair.
Yeah.
You did not.
I
know
did
that.
not research his upbringing and if anybody ever hurt his feelings or whatever. But the easiest route for him was the most difficult route.
Yeah.
Just get a job because you only got $50,000 in 33 banks. I don't know what 33 is into 50, but I think it's maybe $1,250 a pop.
Right. And then maybe you'd have a little sense of purpose and not be so.
And then he only did it to pay his rent. And then he would buy something he couldn't afford and he would have to rob another bank again.
Wow.
Yeah. Preston was released in 2002. He still lives in Florida. And for a while, he worked as a salesman for a lock company, which made me crack up.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Full
Yeah.
circle.
And now he works at a different place that doesn't involve locks. And that's what I have. There you go.
Cool. Great.
Fumbles.
Fumble.
Nice work.
Nice work, everybody. Okay. Thank you for bearing with us, everybody. That was a long episode.
Yeah, Les is exhausted.
I am. I mean, we have been sitting here for 5 hours.
Oh my God. My butt hurts.
Your butt hurts on your bouncy seat?
It does. Because I haven't been bouncing the whole time. All right. Now I'm done.
Bounce it out. Keep it going. Okay. So let's wrap it up with some recommendations or sharesies feelsies. I can start. Mine's a book. I recently finished reading 9 Perfect Strangers by Leanne Moriarty. She's the author who wrote Big Little Lies. Oh. It was very good. I didn't read Big Little Lies, but I loved it on HBO. 9 Perfect Strangers is kind of similar where it has a little bit of a possibly true crimey bend, but you're not really sure. And it's about 9 strangers that are in Australia and they go to this wellness retreat and just weird things happen to them there. It's very good. She's a great author and I'm going to read some of her other books as well.
Cool.
Yeah. So that'll be up on the tab if you want to check it out too. On the page, whatever it's called. What are computers? Karlin, do you have a feelsy?
I just wanted to celebrate Centoya Brown being commuted.
Yes.
It's a really big deal.
Oh my God.
I've definitely signed petitions for this woman. She was not a woman when this all first started. She was a girl of 16. She was trapped in sex trafficking, originally sentenced to 51 years to life for shooting a man who was going to kill her.
Jesus.
And she recently was commuted, and her original sentence has been changed to 15 years. So she's going to be released in August. And I think that's amazing. And I think we just need to keep believing women.
Yeah.
And
I know.
somebody I recently saw use the hashtag Believe Black Women. And I think that's a whole separate thing that also deserves so much attention.
Absolutely.
So I'm just really, really happy about that. That's what should happen.
Yeah.
This woman should not be behind bars for saving her own life.
Yeah,
So.
seriously. You're absolutely right.
And when this comes out, that will be like a couple weeks ago, but it's okay for us. It's current for us right now.
Yeah,
It's current
sorry.
for us.
This has
And-
happened
yeah.
since our last record.
And it's still important even a couple of weeks from now.
Absolutely.
You know?
If no one is following, or if people aren't following Sean King on Twitter or wherever, he was a big proponent and kind of got the internet fired up about her, which helped get her sentence commuted.
Oh, I mean,
so
even,
many,
like,
but
LeBron James has been, Rihanna has been
but Sean
talking about
King
this.
is like a big in the Black
right.
Lives Matter movement.
Yeah.
I mean, he's incredible, and so follow Sean King. You, Alison?
So I assumed that Eliza was going to recommend this podcast. So I had a book recommendation, but then she zagged and she recommended a book. So now I'm going to recommend this podcast because we are of a hive mind. So I started listening to Broken Hearts. And it's a podcast about a couple who adopted 6 children and somehow ended up at the bottom of a ravine in California, Northern California, I believe.
all of them?
Yes. I love this podcast. I hate this podcast because it's devastating. But I love it. And I love how it is forcing everyone to have discussions about your social media persona versus the reality of your life and what's happening to us as individuals, not even in public, just within ourselves, that we are creating this gap between the reality and the front face that we show everyone. So it's done by Glamour and Broken Hearts, and the heart is HARTS. It's devastating and it's important. So you guys should definitely listen to it.
It's also showing the importance of if you think something is wrong in a neighbor's household,
Yes.
or you think a kid is being abused, or you think anything is happening, don't just think, I don't want to get in their business.
Yeah. Get in their business and stay in their business
Yeah.
for as long as it takes.
Okay, so little teaser for episode 12. Since we have so many people watching along with us now, our episode 12 episode will come out in 2 weeks. So you'll have 2 weeks to watch on Amazon Prime. In episode 12, we have not 1, but 2 Last Love segments, honey.
Oh my.
And but also don't worry, because we have another dead-eyed husband did it case in the middle to really infuriate us.
Oh my God, it is such a good
And that's you,
husband
KB.
did it. That's yours, KB.
Yeah, honey. Oh gosh, talk about dead-eyed.
I mean,
truly.
he is the most husbandy did it husband I have ever husbanded is my entire husband.
Yeah,
life.
more so than
I mean,
mine.
just the oh my God, the smarm on him. I just want to shower him with a hose and rub him with a Brillo brush. He's disgusting.
So listen along.
Very weird image you just put in my head.
And if you want to see those eyes before you hear us talk about him, watch episode 12.
Deader than what's his name?
Yes.
I mean,
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
It's such a competition of nightmare monster people that it's hard. It's hard to
real
rank
hard.
them.
It's true.
Everybody, if you like our podcast, we always say, like, rate us on iTunes, which is honestly so helpful. We love reading them.
Yes.
The biggest way, that's a huge way for others to hear about us, but another, like, more genuine way even is just tell a friend or two. Send them our Instagram profile, like send them a story that we post or any post that we do and just say, I listened to this podcast. I think you would like it. We would love our little Resolved Mysteries community to continue to grow, and word of mouth is like the most organic way for that to happen.
For sure.
So that would be awesome if you could do that. You can contact us at resolvedmysteriespodcast.com. Follow us on Instagram at re_solvedmysteries, Twitter on @resolvethepod, and Facebook @resolvethepod. We have got lots of people like interacting with us on Facebook, which is super fun.
Yes, it's awesome.
Yeah, don't forget Instagram. You see a lot of our stuff from Instagram on Facebook, but Instagram's another place that we would love to start talking to people more and interacting with you.
Yeah, if you follow us on Facebook, just jump, and you're on Instagram, just jump on there and follow us as well, because everything that we have on Facebook originally comes from Instagram. So.
Yeah. And then we haven't said this the last couple of times, but I know you're all just have piles of gifts waiting for us.
We don't need it to be gifts. It can be like cool, weird things
Yeah,
that you
weird
found, or
things.
like family mysteries.
Yeah. If you like handwritten letters instead of emailing us, write us a letter. That'd be super fun.
Oh my God, that'd be awesome.
So it's 14005 Portland, Oregon 97293. Send us something if you want to. We'll probably talk about it on the podcast.
We
if you
talk
do.
about it. Yeah,
We
we will.
for sure will.
We're going to lose our fucking minds if there's anything in that P.O. box ever.
And then subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. If you like us, leave a 5-star review. And for every review this month, we're donating to End the Backlog.
Yeah.
And we'll see you all in 2 weeks. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.
Bye.